All right, are we on? Let's see here. Let me know if you can see or hear me right now, chat. Audio and video. Thank you, Lenina. Excellent. It's really good to see you today. Gonna do my best not to get eaten alive. They've decided to come out in force today, just within the last few minutes as I was setting up for stream. But anyhow, welcome back to Western Wyoming. Welcome back to the middle of nowhere. It is a beautiful middle of nowhere, though. Welcome back to a live dinosaur dig here on Paleontologizing. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. So you probably know already that a paleontologist is a scientist who studies fossils. I work on mostly dinosaur fossils in particular, and that's what we're doing here, is collecting some dinosaur fossils from the late Cretaceous Almond Formation out here in western Wyoming, kind of near the town of Green River. This is the same site we were working yesterday, called the Purple Puzzle Site. So you'll see the ontogeny of these new bones that have been uncovered. It's going to be a good stream, I think. Decide to relent. There's another one right there. Ugh. Anyway, I'm glad you're here, everybody. There's one on the camera. Goodness. Welcome. Let me know if you've got any questions. And almost a whole year. There you go, Madam 33. 54 months. I really appreciate your ongoing support. Good stuff. And very humid today. Wow, 22% humidity. Maybe that's what's bringing out the gnats. Or maybe it's just that time of year. I don't know. It is June, 3rd today, I think? Still at the very beginning of our field season here. We're going to go until the end of June, and I'm going to do my best to stream every single day to the best of my ability. So, yeah, welcome to live paleontological fieldwork. And at least not mosquitoes, says Claire Burr. Yeah, at least not mosquitoes. That would be worse. Yeah. And howdy to you too, Sloppy Salamander. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Yeah. Again, I've got with me today Nick and Eric, both from Pennsylvania. And it should be later tonight or maybe tomorrow. I'll have some more folks joining us from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is going to be pretty cool. Matt Lamanna, the curator of paleontology at the Carnegie Museum of Natural History, will be joining us. So it's going to be great to have him on stream again. Right now, we're just kind of getting this site ready to be able to accept more people. We'll be able to widen this out and look for more bones, and hopefully it turns into something really cool. We do have a few bones here that look pretty promising so far. They might not be super pretty, but to our trained eyes, they look pretty good. And I'll show you in a few minutes. Yeah. Loonisaurus says, isn't 22% pretty dry? Maybe not for out here. Yeah. We checked yesterday in Berkeley, California. It was 59% humidity, and it wasn't even raining or anything. So yeah, 22% is pretty dry. That was the joke, you know. Yeah. And Sazasaf says, this is just so cool, man. Thanks for bringing us along. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. This is the best way that I know of for doing science outreach. You know, I'm trying to put you where the action is so that you can see this sort of work as it happens. It's something that I find really meaningful. I hope you do too. So welcome back to Paleontologizing. And, oh man, these gnats. Yowza. The things we do for science, you know? And hello to you, Natalie Lush. How are you? Welcome to Paleontologizing. Yeah. And what region is this? This is western Wyoming, kind of near the town of Green River. It should say that, like, right up here on the screen. Something like that. Might be a little bit difficult to see. But, yeah. So again, we're, like the command says right there. Oh, other side? Okay, over here. We're digging in the late Cretaceous Almond Formation. These rocks are about 73 million years old. So before you get dinosaurs like T-Rex and Triceratops. But, yeah, we might even have the ancestors of those dinosaurs here in this formation. The exciting thing about the almond is that it's understudied. There are 0 dinosaurs that have been named from the almond formation. So if we find good specimens of dinosaurs here, not only will they likely be new, but we should be able to publish on them, name them. They will be new to science, which is really exciting. Yeah. Good stuff. Anywho. Keeping my fingers crossed. Thank you, Vexy. I appreciate that. It's glad to have you back, though. How are you doing? Walk over to the site over here. We've got Eric and Nick working. And as you can see, we've cleared a bit more rock than we had yesterday. We're expanding the site out laterally. And this is where I was working earlier today, so I removed all of this. So far, no bone in this area. But Nick has got bones right there. Give us a quick little tour, Nick?
Sure, yeah. So this whole thing, giant or multiple bones, not too sure, could be pretty fragmented. I still think it's too early to tell what element it is, what bone it is. But we've got some really cool features on this bone. So this is gluing right here. It's being a little fidgety, so it doesn't want to stick on.
If you have to hold it there, that's fine, yeah. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, but there's a really unique raised section of this bone here. Might be diagnostic of something later. We'll take a look at that in the lab. But it looks like still it expands laterally towards
so that's bone
Danny.
down there too?
Yeah,
weird.
Towards Danny, and
really weird.
maybe up here. Where's that? Northeast?
I don't even know
I'm
yet.
not too sure where we're at. But yeah, this is what I've been working on all morning. It's gonna be a pretty big jacket, pretty heavy jacket.
Luckily, we just have to go downhill with it for the most part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really interesting, and there's still more bone. I'm gonna see if there's more that uncovers right where this chicken scoop is. But you can see it has a nice flow to it.
It's weird, yeah.
It comes all the way down. This is probably where all these fragments are coming off of in our floats that might be that were collected last year.
Yeah.
Man,
That's weird, really cool. I almost wonder if it's pelvic, if this could be part of
maybe with the Breivik shelf.
Something, yeah. Yeah, so this, you're saying this is bone down here too?
Yeah, that's definitely, this isn't bone here, but this is definitely bone that comes out. Very broad.
Weird.
Shape. Could be maybe a part of the pubis. I don't know. I don't want to put any
that would be huge
ideas
if it
out
were.
yet.
Yeah. And looking at that like we were yesterday, I'm still thinking that looks limmy. Could be a humerus, it could be something else, but it looks bigger than it did yesterday. I've got a better sense of how far it extends. And
there is a big fracture, or like right here, a big space where there's the bone separates.
Yeah, almost like a fault right there.
There could be a fault line or something there that separates the two fossils. So far, I say we could say there's at least, if you do like an MNI or something, or like an NISP.
Minimum number of individuals?
Yeah. Or I mean, number of elements, I guess.
Oh, okay.
At least NISP, that's it. Right, Eric? You did more archaeology type stuff where you look at element stuff. But anyways, there's at least 3, I could say. There's one up by Eric. If you
at least 3 different bones here so far, yeah.
If you could point to the one closest by you.
Well,
yeah, all the way up. Yeah, so there's that.
Don't know if that's one bone or if it separates here.
Yeah, we're not too sure yet, but then we have this part here. Maybe this is a part of that. It might have been a mediolateral fracture. And then, we'll get to these little parts here, then a third piece. That's just what I'm seeing so far. Again, it's fun to speculate sometimes. You can't really jump to conclusions.
And when you're just sitting here digging, it's like that's what you do, is you try and figure out what it is, and those perceptions change as you uncover more and more of it. Your mind changes, and when we get back to the lab, we'll figure it out for sure. But
it's MNE, minimum number of elements.
Oh,
MNE.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Cool.
Sweet. So we'll get back to work.
NISP is number of identified specimens.
That's it. Yeah. So we're looking at the bones here, so it'll be MNE.
Nice.
Sweet.
Let's see. Ash Odinson, it's really said that it's really cool to come here and just see what we've uncovered each day, see the site kind of change with each stream. I'm glad that's interesting. Yeah. I will be bouncing around to some different sites later on in the summer, but for right now, it seems like we're going to be mostly right here. Probably for the next few days. We'll see. Yeah. And Claire Burr, the frill jacket you took from here 2 years ago, how would you play? So that's not this site. This is my first time ever working at this site, Claire Burr. You may be talking about the Ceratopsian site, which is a few miles away. Many miles away, actually. Yeah, this is the purple puzzle site. So this is my first season working here. Yeah. And yeah, good stuff. Vexy says, will it be possible to determine what caused its death? Maybe in the future, potentially, but it's often really, really tricky. Even if you have like a complete skeleton, determining cause of death is it's really difficult. In fact, it's almost kind of unheard of. So yeah, it's not likely we'll be able to figure out. But that's okay, you know. He dies eventually, and this critter did about 73 million years ago. So yeah, we're gonna try and avoid doing that ourselves today. So wish us luck.
No, it got infected.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
Excuse me, Dan.
Yeah, go for it. So yeah, again, we've got bone right here, weird shape to it. And part of the shape is going to be deceptive because there is stuff concreted on top of it. So some of the actual silhouette of the bone is going to be obscured. We've got what looks like a limb bone up here. And then another one up here that's pretty chunked up. But yeah, well then you look, these things will continue in this direction, which is why I've been digging over there, trying to remove a bunch of rock. And yeah, that's what I'll be continuing to do today. Let me go walk around for a little bit, get some water, answer some questions, and then I'll continue working with you guys.
It sounds good.
Let's cross our fingers that these gnats don't keep giving us trouble.
Yeah, could we just get a slight breeze?
Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be great.
Yeah, it was pretty breezy yesterday, as everybody remembers from chat.
Give us a breeze.
Yeah, please. Let's get some breezes going in the chat, shall we? Good stuff. And Pursue 303, how are you doing? Welcome back to Paleontologizing. How are things? Let me get some water up here. If you've got any questions, now is the perfect time to ask them. While I'm paying attention to chat, I'm just going to do a quick little walk around. Then I'll sit down and actually start working again. Yeah. Breeze quota filled yesterday, says Alexander Morrison. I hope not. I hope we get a little bit of a breeze today. Would help with these gnats, I'm sure. There's a few fossil sites that I've been to where the gnats are just relentless. There's another one. Go away. There's that sauropod that I think a lot of people have probably heard of. Diplotacid sauropod. It's now on display at the museum in Los Angeles. The site name is Natalie, with a G, Natalie, because there were just so many gnats there. When I was in Hanksville, Utah a few years ago, we didn't stream from there, but I think I showed you pictures. They run generators at that site, so they can have these huge industrial fans just blowing on the quarry at all times to keep the gnats away, because the gnats get that bad there, especially early in the year, around June. We've never had really any trouble with gnats here in Wyoming. Hopefully that doesn't start today. We'll check in with the rest of the crew later on when we go back to camp and see what everybody else has gotten up to. But I'll give you a little update about that, because we were able to ask everybody, how was yesterday? When we got back. At the ankylosaur site, they found the bone layer, and they started finding osteoderms. So that's really exciting. Ankylosaurs are armored dinosaurs. Ankylosaurus is probably the most famous of them. And they've got these armor scutes all over their bodies. They started finding some of them there, and some of them are really pretty. So there's another new dinosaur that we have. If we find enough of it, we should be able to describe it, publish it, name it. So that is our third species of dinosaur so far from the almond that should be new and we should be able to publish on. So that is very, very exciting. And then at the ceratopsian site, it was all hands on deck there yesterday. A few people moved from other sites to help them out with the overburden, removing all the overlying sediment there. And they have these huge sandstone boulders that they have to move. And I saw video that they took. These guys are just going feral over there, and like using whatever means they can to try and move these gigantic boulders. They tried pry bars, but they were cheapo pry bars from Harbor Freight. The pry bars snapped. They broke. So they gave up on that idea, and they've been tying ropes to the tops of these boulders and then using a team of people to pull them over. And man, I wish you could see the video chat. It was pretty amusing. But just, again, these guys are going feral, and they're just making ape noises and beating their chests and stuff. It was amusing, for sure. Maybe we'll get to see some of that if I'm back at the Ceratopsian site at some point soon. Yeah, and then we've got our site here too. Turtle Hill, they found a bunch more bowfin vertebrae from Melvius, these giant bowfin fish from the Cretaceous. So Fisher was pretty excited about that. I saw some pictures; they're really pretty. And then they've got some possible turtle elements, and maybe some crocodiliform elements too, some crocky bits. So yeah. Anywho. And Velsi says, does everyone that is helping the dig site get credit on the published papers? They'll all be acknowledged, for sure, yeah. In fact, many members of the paleontologizing community are also going to be acknowledged for donations that happened in 2023. So we've got those names written down, and yeah, that's going to be a thing. Man, I've got like 6 gnats on my arm right now. Go away. I don't want to kill you, but you're trying to eat me. Anywho, yeah. Paleontologist VA says, where are the power tools when you need them? No, they have a jackhammer there. It's just, we're dealing with sandstone boulders that probably weigh several tons. Really, really hard sandstone. There's not much you can do with those. I suppose if you had a masonry drill and some dynamite, you might be able to blow some of them apart, but we don't have that. We just have kind of a smallish jackhammer there, and yeah, they're hesitant to use it too much because it's gonna break if they use it too much. Yeah, and oh boy, I got gnats on my eyelids. Gah. Anywho, yeah. Any questions or anything? Let me know. Now is the time. Speak now or forever hold your peace. And, Vexy says, what's the process for transporting all the bones from the site? Do you group them somehow to not mix them up between specimens? So you'll see later on we build these protective plaster and burlap field jackets around them. It's like a protective cocoon made of burlap and plaster. And then we will sometimes put a data slip on the inside so that they can identify it in the lab after they open it up. But we also write on the outside. We'll use Sharpies or paint markers in order to be able to label each one. And then we'll have to carry them all the way down the hill by hand to the road down there and then transport them using a truck. So, yeah, it's quite the undertaking. Sometimes it's like it might take a day or more. Well, hopefully not more than a day. It might take a whole day to get jackets down from the site. And those are sometimes very long days. We might even go until after sunset. 8 or 9 p.m. potentially on some of these days. Those critical days when you've got to remove the fossils from the site. Yeah. And anywho, yeah. And Airbomb says, do you ever find any new stuff, or are you mostly expecting to find what you were finding? Well, this is a duckbill dinosaur here. We knew it was here last year, that's why we came back. There were surface fragments there that were collected, and now we're digging in and trying to find bones in the ground, and we're succeeding. This is new in that it's a new species. We have every reason to think that this is going to be a new kind of dinosaur, and so we're pretty excited about that. That's why one of the reasons why this is so important. And was there a dig site location that you loved the most, says Jen J82. There's a few during my career that I've really, really enjoyed working at. A lot of stuff in the Hell Creek and the Judith River formations in Montana. Another one of my favorite sites we'll be visiting later this year. Actually, next month. During July, mid-July, I'll be at Doling's Bowl near Moab, Utah. And that's still one of my favorite sites. It's honestly going to feel like a vacation after this. It's going to be pretty cool. So stay tuned for that. And flying reptiles are found on the same site as dinosaurs, asks Korolivska. So pterosaurs, the flying reptiles, are very rare. We know they were in these environments. They were probably all over the place, but their bones are very thin, very delicate, difficult to preserve, you know? And so we don't have any pterosaur material at all from the Almond Formation yet. We have every reason to think that they were here, because they were here in formations before this and after this, but we don't have any pterosaur stuff yet. It would be a big deal if we found some. Yeah. And Gamer's Tavern Show says, how often are new species of dinosaur found? That's kind of difficult to answer, just because it's usually not recorded or announced when one gets found in the first place. It's when it gets published that you have like an official record. And last year there were something like 46 new species of dinosaur named, new genera and species. So that's almost one every week. This year, I think we have about half of that so far, or less than half. Yeah, it's it ebbs and flows. There's highs and lows there. But yeah, it's like about once every, on average, it's about once every 9 days a new species of dinosaur gets published. Although it might be years, could even be decades in between the initial discovery and the official scientific publication. But I don't know, if you average it out, it's probably about every 9 days a new species of dinosaur is found. Although it's heavily skewed toward the summers in the northern hemisphere. So like May through August is peak time for finding dinosaurs in the northern hemisphere, because that's boreal summer. Yeah. Yeah. And Starma says, do you have to keep in mind how the max size of the jacket in order to get it through the door of the lab? Yes. Yeah, and there have been fossil jackets before that are too big to fit into certain laboratories. The Utah Raptor Mega Block that I was streaming last year with Jim Kirkland, that is too big to fit in most paleontological labs, so they have it in almost like an site storage facility. It's like its own little building there at the Utah Geological Survey. Yeah. With this, we will have to be cognizant of, like, we can move it by hand with a small team, but sometimes it just doesn't work that way. Sometimes you have so many bones and they're so tightly packed that you have to make a really big jacket, and then you just need to get creative with how you move it. You bring a lot of people in, you get a vehicle with a winch, something like that, you know? I've been on cruise before where there was no way, like it would not have been possible to move by hand, and so we had to call in a helicopter. This is when I worked with Museum of the and luckily Jack Horner had some contacts. He had some people he could call in order to get a donation so that we could afford a helicopter for a few hours one morning, and that was quite the undertaking. Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. And fire-breathing rubber ducky. Want to know how to work in a lab as a lab tech? How do you go about getting a job like that? You usually start off by volunteering. So most of the time, you're not going to get hired to do that if you're brand new. You have to have some sort of experience. And so Nick here actually works volunteering at the Carnegie Museum in the lab. And tell us maybe with that. Maybe like just trying to give advice for people who want to do this kind of thing.
Yeah. And I just, I just got involved. I talked with people at the museum, met with Matt Lamana, and said that when I was, of a certain age, I could volunteer in the paleo lab and work with their head preparator, Dan Pickering, and start off there. I started off, working on baking sands from Antarctica and sifting through microfossils.
Nice.
And then you just work your way up until you eventually start learning the tools and the fossils. So you start building your skill set on small things and less valuable, if you want to say it like that.
Maybe a little bit less scientifically important.
Yeah.
Things that, like, if they get messed up, it wouldn't be the end of the world, Yeah.
I remember my first major project was a green river fish.
Oh, nice.
So
That's actually a great place to start. Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
just a hand scrap, and all you have to do is pick. It wasn't even powered by air or anything.
Oh, really?
I
Okay,
had to
just
pick-
using the tip of the air scribe while it's powered off.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And then upgraded and put on the new Ceratopsis squamosal, and
Yeah, shoot. So Nick here is a volunteer, but he's been able to work on the holotype of a new species, or what should be a new species
Should
once
be.
we get it published. Yeah. So, yeah. Basically, you start off volunteering and you build your skill set, and maybe eventually, if there's money, they can hire you so you can do that professionally. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Thank you so much for the advice. You bet. Thanks for asking, fire-breathing rubber ducky.
yeah, best way is just get involved.
Yeah.
Start talking.
Yep. Make some contacts and start volunteering if you can. Yeah. Starma says, if you start working on those huge jackets, do you have to hang above it Mission Impossible size? Mission Impossible style? Sort of. We might be able to, if you go back and watch the VOD from when I was at the Badlands Dinosaur Museum back in February this year, Steve Clausen has it set up so he's actually like sitting on top of this really big, I think it's a hadrosaur jacket. No, it's a tyrannosaur. They've got like a Daspletosaurus or something. And he's like physically there on top of it because it's so big that you can't reach the middle unless you're on, like, literally on the jacket. So yeah, that is a thing. Murph says, the Ankycite, any thoughts if it will be an ankylosaurid or a nodosaurid? Any hope? We're just lucky to have an ankylosaur at all. I don't know. I'm not sure if we'll be able to tell right away whether it's an ankylosaurid or a nodosaurid, just based on the osteoderms. But I don't know. Maybe they'll have news when we get back to camp today. I'm excited either way. If I had to choose one, probably ankylosaurid, because then there's the possibility of finding a tail club, which would be really cool. But who knows? You know, we'll see. Yeah. Anywho, Airbomb says, what's an osteoderm? The osteoderms are the armor plates in the skin. So they're plates of bone that in life were covered by a layer of keratin, kind of like our fingernails. That's also keratin. And recent work done by people like Mike Habib have shown that these things were incredibly strong, like, because it's actually bone that's interwoven with keratin. So bone has a tendency to be strong but kind of brittle. Or no, maybe it was strong but flexible. Keratin can be incredibly hard but also brittle. You mix them together, you kind of interweave them like that, and then you kind of get the best of both worlds. So there was some sort of take-home message that he had. I attended one of his talks at the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology meeting last year in Minneapolis. And he was like, yeah, this is an animal that its armor could withstand the impact of like a Ford F-150 moving at 60 miles per hour. It's just mind-boggling how strong this armor is. These are animals that they were extraordinarily well protected. And I guess they would have had to have been, because there are all kinds of huge meat-eating dinosaurs walking around who would love to make a meal of them. This environment here in the almond, not only do we have duckbill dinosaurs and horned dinosaurs and armored dinosaurs like our ankylosaur, but there were tyrannosaurs here too. We haven't found any yet, but supposedly Barnum Brown found some good tyrannosaur material here in 1938. It's since disappeared, but we have every reason to think that there were tyrannosaurs in this environment too. And any from the early Jurassic onward, you're going to have large herbivores and you're going to have large carnivores. And the large carnivores in this environment would have been tyrannosaurs. Maybe we'll get lucky this year and we'll start finding some tyrannosaur material. There's a chance we might even find tyrannosaur teeth at a site like this, if our animal was eaten by a tyrannosaur. Yeah. So, more reason to keep looking around. Yeah. And Vexy says, what happens to the bones that are dug up early in the process? Do you wait until all the bones are dug out to label them and transport them? No. So we'll once we have these out of the ground, once we start removing jackets, we try and remove them as we make them. So once the jacket is ready to move, we'll move it that day if we can. We don't want to leave things here because there's always a chance somebody's going to come by and try and steal it. So we try and bring them back to camp where they'll be safe. And then at the end of the summer, or maybe even prior to that, we'll have them sent off to the museum, if that makes sense. Yeah. Anywho, yeah. Airbomb says, why wasn't I born with armor? Clever says mammals. There are armored mammals too, though. There's armadillos. There's glyptodonts, which are now extinct, but they're related to armadillos. And even some ground sloths actually had armor. They had osteoderms kind of embedded in their skin. You may not have been able to see them over the surface. They might have been like below the skin, but they seem to have had osteoderms too. Yeah. And we're getting a raid from, oh, is this, from Pyro Kitty's Tavern? Oh, from Casey Snow. Casey, thank you for the raid. That is phenomenal. I was so happy to be able to raid into your channel yesterday. Again, I hope you had a wonderful stream, Casey. And I hope that raid put you a little bit closer to being able to apply for partner. It's really exciting. I'm stoked for you, Casey. Holy cow. Your Vaquita stream, I will make sure that I can tune into that. Maybe we can even stream early and raid in or something. That's what, like September 7th? Oh man, I got my fingers crossed for you. I really, really hope you're able to get it. That is awesome. If anybody's not yet following Casey Snow Art, you are missing out. Holy cow. So she's an artist, she streams on Twitch, she can teach you how to become a much better artist. If you think that you can't draw, she might be able to change your mind, because chances are you do have that ability. You just need to focus it a little bit. She can tell you how to do that. And her streams are just a ton of fun. She's a really cool person. Go follow Casey Snow Art if you're not yet doing so. Yeah. Might be around there, but not official yet. Sounds good, Casey. Excellent. Yeah. Cool. I can relate to your fascination with the vaquita, the world's smallest porpoise and the most endangered cetacean, the most endangered whale in the world. Yeah, there's something like fewer than 20 of them left in the entire world. They are just teetering on the brink of extinction. I've got as of a month ago, a new fascination with leatherback sea turtles, and I'm hoping to do some leatherback conservation streams within the next year or so. So wish me luck on that. I'm starting to build some contacts and think some things through. We might be able to do some fundraisers and all that good stuff. So. Yeah, but I can totally relate to that. It's like, here's this animal that needs our help, and you just want to learn everything that you can about it, and you want to do everything that you can to help save it. I'm right there with you, Casey. Yeah. Anywho, good stuff. Yeah. Tuxedo T-shirt says, how are you such a good dude? People like you give me so much... I don't know what to say to that. Thank you. Shoot. Yeah, I don't know. I do what I do what I'm passionate about, and I'm really lucky to be able to share that with everybody. So I'm really pleased. It makes me really happy that you like that you're here. Man, these gnats are something else. Sorry. Just constantly have to do this so they don't bite me. But yeah, this is something that I've wanted to do since I was a little kid, you know? I'd always dreamed of becoming a paleontologist ever since I realized I couldn't grow up to be a dinosaur. And I've always dreamed of going out and digging up dinosaurs. Now I've been doing that this is like my 13th or 14th year doing paleontological fieldwork. So yeah, it's such a privilege to be able to share that with you. So welcome. The gnats are happier there too. I'm sure they are. Well, you can't grow up to be a dinosaur with that attitude, says Diatoms Attack. How are you doing, Diatoms? A fellow paleontologist here on Twitch. Paleontologist, paleoecologist, paleodiatomist. Follow Diatoms Attack if you want to see some cool science outreach streams dealing with diatoms. These amazing microscopic photosynthetic organisms that produce much of the oxygen that we breathe. They're extraordinarily important little critters, and you can learn all about them on Diatom's Attacks stream. But yeah. Dagger Nose Shark says, hi, first time here. Welcome, Dagger Nose Shark. It's good to have you here. Here, before I put the camera down and continue working over there. Oh, what do you guys got?
Dude. Down. There's a really cool
Ooh.
shape here on this bone. Honestly, it looks ribbed. It's very curvature. It has a nice curvature to it, and it's round.
That does look ribby just from here. Everybody, welcome to Paleontologizing if you're just joining us. We are here digging up a duckbill dinosaur.
Yeah,
And yeah, look at that. That does look ribby. Yes, indeed. That looks like rib cross-section there.
So I have a piece of bone gluing up behind our marker.
Mm-hmm.
Again, could not tell if it was a rock or not.
Uh-huh.
There was no way to tell until I, chipped a little piece off.
Yeah,
See
got to
the
look at that
trabeculae.
internal texture sometimes.
But yeah, this is bone.
And there's bone too?
Falls all the way
Shoot.
down.
This
It
is
I'm glad you guys are looking through this
It
right
was
now.
right
before.
here, too.
It's under the plant.
Yeah, but this.
Yep.
To send the roots down and just eat up these dinosaur fossils.
This is what we call shoulder bones, right?
Throw it over your shoulder.
It's just a rock.
It's a rock. It's not actually bone.
We're just gonna keep track of where these are falling out of, so we could.
Excellent.
Take a
I'm
nice
glad you guys are
look.
doing this right now. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I was just sitting there. I was like,
Yeah.
a rock poking out of here. So, but it's not a rock; it's a bone, and this guy's kind of spreading out.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense, right? Because then he's rolling down the mountain or down the hill.
Uh-huh.
But no, that does look like a rib to me.
Oh,
It's,
cool. I've seen. In chat, Diatom's Attack. I'm working on some materials from diatoms that grow on leatherbacks. Really? Attack. That's really neat. I need to get some water. Awesome.
Yeah,
Shoot.
I'm gonna have Eric work on this. I'm gonna continue up there.
Beautiful.
Um,
Yeah, we were talking earlier about how just by walking around past here for the last few days, we're kicking down a bunch of matrix that might obscure anything that's tumbled down there. There might be more bone pieces, what we call float, on the surface there. So I'm glad you guys are picking this up right now, before it gets further buried. Just by when we walk back and forth down here, have a tendency to send dirt downhill.
We wedged a rock in to
Smart.
try to hold up.
Yeah. Nice. Here, let me get some water. And again, please, can we get some breeze? I wanna send these gnats packing. These guys are being really annoying, biting me. There's a little bit of a breeze. Yeah. Gah.
Yeah.
They really like to try and bite me behind the ears. Anywho, Diatom's Attack, super neat. Yeah, you've got diatoms that grow on leatherbacks, on Dermachelys coriacea. That's pretty neat. That's pretty darn cool. I'd love to hear more about this. Again, I want to do some leatherback conservation streams in the next year. And maybe we could incorporate some diatom stuff in there. God, these gnats. God. We've never had gnat problems here. This is my 3rd year here working in the almond formation. Never had gnats. I hope this isn't the start of a new trend. All right, somebody had a message for Nick. What was that? Let's see. From Moxie Drinker. Danny, tell Nick I will be getting photos of the dinosaur footprint at the Gettysburg battlefield. Very cool. Thank you, Moxie. Hey, Nick. Moxie Drinker in the chat says they'll be getting some photos of the dinosaur footprint at Gettysburg.
really?
Yeah.
That's cool. I'd love to see those.
That'd be really neat. Yeah, put them in a place where you can provide a URL in the chat, and then we can take a look on stream if you want. Pretty neat. Yeah. Good stuff. I mean, Casey Snort says we've had a lot of rain in the Southern Rockies lately. Don't know if that has translated to more gnats in the mountains. Could be. Yeah. Could be. Oh, and there's a breeze. Look at the plants move. Yeah. With a little bit more breeze, carry away these gnats. Gah. And do you have any bug spray with you in camp? I do, Starma, yeah. Yeah. And we've had a lot of gnats the past week, but not the kind that bite. They just fly into my eyes and mouth. Well, that's better than it could be, Dinos Tech. Yeah. This one's trying to bite me right there. I think that's my blood. Ugh. Great. Yeah. Anyhow, let me set the camera down, and I'll keep digging through here. As you can tell, chat, I've got long pants on today, which is an unusual circumstance in the field. It doesn't normally happen. But it was cold this morning and last night. Yeah, all that wind is bringing in some cold weather, and it's starting to warm up again. But tomorrow's supposed to be colder than today, right?
Warmer. 16.
Oh, warmer. Oh, okay, nice.
Today's gonna be the coldest of.
Coldest day, and then it should be in the 70s after this.
Correct.
That should be nice, as long as it's not too windy or anything. Yeah. All right. Where's the best place to put this? I'm trying to arrange things so that the camera is in a good spot, but also stable enough that it won't fall over. Oh, I gotta plug in the motor to the battery pack. There we go. Excellent.
We're probably gonna have to take down this part that I'm standing on as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, all this is
Probably-
gonna have to get excavated, yeah.
Probably when we start trenching. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Just gotta not knock anything over.
Cut that over there. Keep the sun
Oh,
off.
that looks like a piece, doesn't it?
Good.
Well, that definitely is because a little piece fell off. If you need glue, Eric, let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
The cold and gnats have made prisoners of Danny's legs, says Dinos. True.
What is that? Oh, you just stepped on it. What was that? Is that bone? Or no? What is that brown
This?
thing? That is? Yeah, what is
It's a
that?
dirt clod.
Gotcha.
It was a dirt clod. Not anymore. All right. And get this situated properly. That should work. Is that a good? Moxie Drinker says, ask Nick when he gets home, would it be okay for me to come up and do an IRL stream with him at the museum? That
Sure.
maybe, yeah. You might have to get special museum permission to do that, but
Yeah.
it might be neat.
I would contact them first and then
Yeah.
let me know. But I'm there Wednesdays, so.
Nice.
But I love that though. Personally, that'd be cool.
That would be really cool. Yeah. Yeah. See all the different doors that Twitch can open up. It's pretty neat.
It's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
maybe give you a little behind the scenes tour. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm gonna grab that other scoop. Go behind the camera.
Hey,
Can I steal your
Danny.
scoop here,
Yeah.
Eric?
Can you hand me my pick?
The pick? The rock
the
hammer?
picks? No, other side. Shovel.
These?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Scoop behind you here.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I like that I can at least recognize a bone so
Yeah.
far, because there's only one with a curved, circular piece of bone. It's a
Yeah.
rib.
Stadler and Waldorf says, I would love to do some paleontology, sit back on a hill, pour myself a pina colada.
If you like lukewarm pina coladas,
Yeah. And getting caught in a dust storm.
man. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't had pina coladas out here yet, but that is a lovely idea. I had certainly had a few of those when I was in Puerto Rico last month. The birthplace of the pina colada.
Did you sing the song?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see here. Who doesn't like dust in their pina colada, says Leigh LaRue. Yeah, good question. Yeah.
Let's see here. Could you put the bucket up here, please?
Yeah, you bet. We will be, I'm sorry, chat, you won't be able to see Eric here, but know that he's right there behind the tub.
Yeah. Sorry, Eric.
That almost sounds like the name of a show or something.
Eric
Behind the tub with Eric.
Eric's like Mike Wazowski, right, in Monster Insane.
With the sticker over his face.
Sticker over his face. We got the lovely plaster bin.
So I was really hoping we'd have. Was that?
I'm always watching.
Yeah, chat's always watching. I was really hoping we'd have bones under here.
We might, maybe this.
I was so careful to clean off the whole surface and like be able to look at everything, and there's just big
Look how thick
blocky sandstone.
Yeah, that sandstone is right to your
Yeah.
right. Look how thick that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a femur.
Not a femur. It's not a femur.
It's not a.
It's not a femur. Welcome, Planet Vampy. It's good to have you here. Community Time says, in reference to Eric's Behind the Tub, it's the paleontological equivalent to Between Two Ferns. I think that would be Between Two Cycads. Does the content of the tub get checked also? Kind of. It's more like we'll put things into here, and if we look and we go, oh shoot, where's that piece? Look in the tub. So like this right here that I just put in there, from right here. If I were concerned that, oh shoot, there's bone texture here, I can pull this out and find the rest of the bone. But luckily this is just rock. Yeah. And Charlie's Dragon says, if Eric is between two cycads, does that mean Danny and Nick are the cycads? I presume it does, yeah. Yeah. And Motor Morvain says, OMG, another paleontologist? We got 3 of them here, actually. 1, 2, 3. Again, Eric's behind here. I could try and put the tripod higher up, but that would make it more likely that it would fall, so we're going to have you... Again, obscured behind the tub. Well, can you see the camera from your angle?
I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then what am I even talking about? Yeah.
I see your hat. And maybe able to see your hat.
Utah.
It's really big letters on that.
Yeah. I found out.
It is. Yeah, the H is lower down than the U is. That's funny. Yeah.
Turns out it's a lady's hat, too.
Yeah? Could have fooled me. You know, Utah itself might be crooked. You know how it's, with you've got straight lines.
Yeah.
You know, they're supposed to be right angles. I betcha that it's not actually like parallel to the equator. Or maybe it is. I don't know. If they're lines of latitude,
If so,
then it would be parallel to the equator, huh?
calculate the circumference as well, and 2 pi r, and do all this circular math.
To do what?
Figure out its latitude, longitude coordinates.
You can look it up on Wikipedia, too. Yeah.
Trying to make some complex math equation that
Sure.
you'll never have to
If
use.
you're into that kind of thing.
I
Yeah.
can give you paleo coordinates for our area.
Yeah.
No.
No, I'm not gonna.
Moxie Drinker says, ask Nick if he knows any other dinosaur sites in Pennsylvania. Which I don't think there are any, right?
No, there's
Yeah.
a lot of Ordovician Devonian sites that I've been to.
Yeah.
Which are cool, from my undergrad at Penn State. But
Yeah, you've got Red Hill in Pennsylvania.
there's Red Hill with Heiner and Heiner PA.
Yeah.
You got the
Heiner
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I did find a Hyneria scale.
Oh, the big fish?
Yes.
Yeah.
It looked like a penny.
Huh.
It was really big.
Uh-huh.
But it was about the size of a penny.
Huh.
And that was really cool.
I don't know if Red Hill is the best place to visit, though, because it's literally on the side of a highway.
Yes, it's a roadside cut, and
Yeah.
it's like a brown color,
Yeah.
not red.
Yeah, Moxie Drinker, stay tuned. We'll have Matt Lamana here in a day or two.
Yeah.
And he'll be able to talk with you all about Pennsylvania geology and paleontology.
Absolutely.
His usual stomping grounds are like Patagonia. Patagonia, the region in South America, not the outdoor expensive clothing store. Although he probably does have some Patagonia gear, huh?
Maybe we'll see.
I think Matt gets paid reasonably well, right? Especially for a paleontologist.
He says he makes a.
Don't say the exact amount,
No,
but yeah.
he makes a comfortable living.
Yeah.
Maybe
Which for a paleontologist would be like, like $11,000 a year. Pretty good. No, I'm sure Matt makes more than that. Yeah.
I'm able to give Moxie a thing that they could contact me if they wanted to do a stream.
Yeah.
You could just message me on
Instagram?
On Instagram,
Yeah.
which is Paleohorn.
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 Are there two A's in paleo like the European way, or no?
No, it's Paleo horn.
Nice.
Give me a message and let me know. I would love to do that. I think that's super exciting.
Yeah, that'd be neat. I think Moxie's just getting started with streaming, so
Nice.
that would be pretty neat. Yeah.
Yeah, Pennsylvania geology is kind of. I think we have a couple. Well, Pennsylvanian, of course.
Yeah. It's a coal.
Yes, there's a lot of coal mining.
Sometimes it
going
catches on fire. Like
Yeah.
in Centralia.
That's been burning since what, 66?
Something like that. Something crazy, yeah.
And they predict another 200 years
Jeez.
till it burns itself out.
Mm-hmm. And it all started because somebody decided they wanted to burn something at the dump, I think?
Yeah, garbage dump.
Talk about mountain building events. Wasn't the Allegheny orogeny one of the
Discovered
first?
by friend Matt.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s?
Was it the first or one of the last? It's.
Oh, the Allegheny orogeny?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know enough about East Coast
There
geology.
was, yeah. My professors are gonna
Well,
slap me,
Is
but
it part of the Appalachians?
yeah, it's the.
Oh, so if
the
it's part of-
creation of the Appalachian.
Is it part of
Mountains.
the like Newark supergroup? Because if so, that would be like early Jurassic or late Triassic.
I don't remember it being like in the middle of the. It's like one of
Yeah.
the last mountain building events. I think.
Oh, okay.
Because at that time, that's when everything got. Oh no. I
Nope.
can't remember now. I don't
probably
wanna say
earlier
any
than
false
that, 'cause
information, but
When I think of East Coast mountain ranges, I don't think of like.
Appalachians are pretty old.
yeah,
they're
that's
very
really
old,
old.
yeah.
So yeah, we'll have that first uplift, and a lot of erosion has to happen to expose those really old rocks.
Well, also just to round everything off. It's not like you've got Alps-style mountains.
No, we got just big hills,
Yeah.
little sky.
Little sky.
What was you? What's this?
Centralia, the inspiration for Silent Hill. That sounds like such a pleasant place. Silent Hill. I want to go there.
Have
What's
you
that?
played the game?
Huh?
Pyramid.
Have you played the game?
Is it one of those like really cozy, fun games like Animal Crossing or
No.
no?
It's a.
But it's called Silent Hill. It sounds
you're
very
looking
relaxing.
For your lost
Lost Sheep?
daughter. What is it?
I don't know. With a name like that, it's got to
But
be.
it's like.
gotta be
covered
very
in
pleasant.
fog and
Uh huh.
mutant.
It's very pleasant with a guy with a cone head on his head.
Yeah.
Pyramid Head.
He has a big.
Sounds like the name of like a
Silent Hill.
retirement community. Oh, Silent Hill.
Come to Silent Hill,
Yeah.
Midwich High School.
Come rest at Silent Hill.
Did you play Paleo Pines?
No.
I have not either.
Yeah.
But it's like an.
That's like an Animal Crossing style game, right?
With dinosaurs.
Yeah. And Animal Crossing, to my surprise, was not like the game Frogger. You would think it would be, but like, there's other playable animals other than a frog. Like, let me be a cow. Let me be a Portuguese man of war. Let me be a coral. But no, it's not. It's not quite like that.
I would keep it because we know that it's bone.
Diatom's Attack says,
I just want to keep that in there.
how does Danny feel about spending 5 nights with a guy named Freddie? Calm or no?
Freddie El Paso.
I don't really know him. Yeah.
Do you know about the bite of 87?
No?
No. So there's this
You're
guy.
referring to Freddie.
I'm not sure. I have not met him either.
We'll not talk about that.
Yeah. Velsi says, if paleontology doesn't work out anymore, you could start a nice silent retreat called Silent Hill. Yeah, if people take a vow of silence, you have like a bunch of monks there. Could be cool. But I don't know. I think the whole paleontology thing is working out pretty well, so I'm going to stick with this for now. And probably for the rest of my life. If that's cool with all of you guys.
Until we go into the dark ages.
Until we don't have to dig anymore.
A few years of this, we don't have to dig anymore.
Yeah. By a few, he meant like probably 50 or 60.
30 years later.
Yeah.
It's the French guy from SpongeBob. 30 years.
And Diatom's Attack says, if my paleontology gig doesn't work, I'm joining the circus. Just start a diatom circus, you know? It's like a flea circus, but underwater. That could be pretty neat.
Helping with the yak woman.
What was the thing? Flea circus, clown fleas, high wire fleas, fleas on parade. Let's do that with diatoms, you know?
Yeah, I can see fleas.
Mommy, can you see the fleas? Burglar says, didn't we talk about dinosaur skin being preserved yesterday? Yeah. So we have a few sites here in the Almond Formation with preserved dinosaur skin. It's all duckbill dinosaur skin. For whatever reason, duckbill dinosaurs are the most common, like, when you see, most commonly it's on a duckbill dinosaur. There are other examples. We've got like a Triceratops mummy. I think it's in the Houston Museum. It's got preserved skin on it. We've got another ceratopsian. There's like Psittacosaurus specimens with preserved skin. One of them. So it's literally got like a preserved. There's no kind way to say it, but preserved butthole on it. Although cloaca is not just a butthole, you know, it's also.
It's the equivalent to the rectum.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like a all-purpose posterior orifice. Well, not all-purpose. They don't eat with it, but you know what I mean. Where were we? Oh yeah, different dinosaurs with preserved skin. It happens every once in a while, but it seems like duckbill dinosaurs, for whatever reason, they're the ones that are most commonly found with preserved skin, and I don't know why. Part of it might be like, might be sample bias, or like people know when they're digging up a duckbill dinosaur, oh, check for skin. Or it could be that they have particularly tough skin. It could be that the areas they like to hang out in are, you know, just chemically those are really good environments for preserving skin. Could be a combination of all those factors. I don't know. Yeah. Thaleroo and Stadler and Waldorf say I was not ready to hear the term preserved butthole. Oh, gee. I mean, we're scientists, you know? We say things like this. Yeah.
Let's all be mature here.
I know. I mean, we don't have to be all jokey about it. It's like, you know.
I think it's cool. It's like one of the first cases, right?
No, it is, yeah.
I remember that made Newsline, right?
I mean, yeah, it was
years ago.
That made headlines all over the world.
Yeah.
It's too bad the specimen is that's one that was smuggled out of China illegally, as I understand it. At one point, it needs to be returned to China, but yeah. But it's cool that there's been some interesting science done on it.
The butthole dino.
Yeah, cloaca. cloaca is one of those words that it does sound kind of pretty if you don't know what it means. We were talking the other day about the word diarrhea and how apparently non-English speakers sometimes say that it's like the most beautiful sounding word in the English language if you don't know what it means. It's just a very euphonious word. Cloaca also, I think, it's a little bit less gossamer than the word. The word diarrhea is just very like, I don't know. It's very like wispy. It's like a piece of silk just like floating in the air. Cloaca not so much. It's got like a hard C sound, 2 hard C sounds in it. It's still a pretty word. How did we get to talking about this?
Preserved buttholes.
Oh yeah, preserved skin in dinosaurs.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So far, it doesn't seem like this would be the kind of site where we'd find preserved skin. Although we do have this really blocky stuff. You could get skin in this, but it's almost always in sandstones that you get skin preserved. And I'm not totally sure why. There's a team working on this in North Dakota at the museum in Bismarck. Clint Boyd and colleagues are really interested in how and why skin gets preserved on dinosaurs, especially duckbills. So that's what Clint's talk was about last year at SVP. Oh, and Charlie's Dragon says cloaca is a nice word, except cloac means sewer in Norwegian. So I have mixed feelings about it. That's the same root word. That's what the word cloaca means in Latin, I think. It literally means sewer. Yeah. So again, not the prettiest concept, but it's a word that sounds nice if you don't know what it means.
What context could you use it in to make it sound nice?
Cloaca is a beautiful word.
I'd like you to meet my baby daughter. Her name is Cloaca.
Cloaca diarrhea.
Oh no. Yeah.
What's going on?
Lordy, how are you doing? Lordy says, I had a very cloacal morning.
Is it so hard?
I like that, Lordy. How are you doing, by the way? It's good to see
It
you.
hasn't been exposed. It's like the isostatic rebound hasn't set in yet. It's just kind of more.
Feels weird, especially.
Cloacal kiss. That's definitely a thing, Marcy
This
Walks
stuff
Dogs.
is
Yeah.
kind of exposed and has a lot of roots through it. Even they got some of this
Yeah.
stuff, but
Anadine Quinine says, do feathers need the same condition as skin to be preserved? Sometimes, yeah. So like some of the stuff that came out of the Yixian Formation in China, we've got dinosaurs with fossil feathers there and with fossil skin. So that's like really fine-grained ash, I think, that fell down into these ancient lakes. Really still water, anoxic environment. That's the sort of conditions that can preserve skin as fossils and feathers too. That formation is famous for its preserved feathers, but you've got some dinosaurs with skin and other soft tissues too, like
I think.
traces of guts and stuff. You know.
right there,
Oh yeah.
right here, large
It's a weird piece.
chunk.
Here, would it be okay if I moved this down here, just so that
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little bit less in the way? Cool. Yeah.
That glue smells good.
High off glue.
And Starmer says, is the rock you're digging away the rock you thought had a humerus yesterday? No, the humerus is right there. Or whatever limb bone that is right here.
So we're
Yeah.
laterally expanding
Uh-huh.
it. So the bone it's continuing. I got more chunks, I
Mhm.
think, here coming out. Hard for you guys probably to see, but
That's weird. What is that? Yeah.
It's
We'll figure it
almost yeah, not too sure. It's given like the shape of it so far is like a ischium pubis.
Yeah, I could see it being
A hip
ilium.
bone. We just
Big
something.
flat thing, but I don't know.
This is very
Yeah.
very odd, but and I'm hypocrite saying this, right? We should never really. It's Till we take it to the lab. Unless
Well,
it's dandy, because you were right about the brow horn. He didn't even see the brow horn.
It just felt brow horny to me. It's like, it looks like a brow horn. And I
Smells
was
like
right.
one, tastes like one.
Yep. If it walks like a brow horn and quacks like a brow horn.
It's brow horn.
Yeah. But anyway, to answer your question, it's the same area I was digging yesterday. It's just much further down now because, you know, I've had more time to dig. It's clearing away a lot of this rock. But the gnats don't seem to be as bad right now. I'm really happy about that.
It's a lot cooler than it was earlier.
Yeah. Counting our blessings here.
Yes, thank you, Chet, for your
Yeah.
thoughts and prayers.
Appreciate that. You sending the gnats away. Don't send them back, please. Yeah.
I have the Gnat Lord come in the chat
Lord of the Gnats.
Lord of the Gnats.
Lord of the gnats.
Instead of Lythronax,
Uh-huh.
Lord of Nax. Or Lord of Gnats.
Little Bretta says perhaps the levels of preservation have something to do with the salt levels in the earth in that area. For the stuff in the Yishan Formation in China, like we were talking about, with the preserved skin and especially preserved feathers, I haven't heard anything about salt. I always hear about the very, very fine-grained ash that would settle down out of these volcanic eruptions. And it could very well be, too, that part of the preservation is that scavengers were killed along with the other animals in the area. So, like, when you had these volcanoes erupting, there'd be a lot of toxic gases out, and they would just smother whole ecosystems in these kind of shallow, quiet lakes with volcanoes nearby. The volcanoes would go off. All these poisonous gases would come down. A bunch of the different critters would die, and then you have the ash that would fall down and help bury them. And the stuff is so fine that you get really, really fine detail preserved. And a lot of the bacteria, the scavengers, the critters that would normally tear these carcasses apart, they're dead. And so this stuff has a chance to be preserved before it decomposes. I think that's generally the idea. Although, to be fair, I'm not sure how susceptible bacteria are to toxic gases from volcanoes. I don't know. I'm not a microbiologist. But, yeah. One of these days we'll hopefully have a conversation with somebody who's worked in Liaoning in the Yishan Formation, and they can kind of walk us through what makes that environment so special for preserving soft tissue.
Between rock and bone.
Yeah.
Smooth.
Is it the Jurassic Park 3 reference
Yeah.
here? Yeah.
Yeah, toothbrush.
Yeah.
I have one in the bone.
Let's see. And Mizart rules toxic plants for dinosaurs. That's a good question. I don't know. That's a really difficult one to test. I was talking earlier about cycads, between two cycads. Cycads today are super toxic. So, like, if animals eat them, they can die. There's actually, like, a medical condition that, I was going to say ranchers, but in Australia they're called graziers, right? Graziers in Australia will talk about the Zamia staggers. Zamia staggers is a condition that livestock can get when they eat cycads. Like, I don't think they have genus Zamia in Australia, but it's still called Zamia staggers. So, like, if a cow gets into a stand of cycads and starts eating the fronds, all kinds of bad things can happen, because I think it's a neurotoxin within the cycads. Cycads were really, really common during the age of dinosaurs, especially in the Triassic and Jurassic periods. And surely dinosaurs would have eaten them, but they may have been adapted for eating those cycads. I don't know. Yeah. It's to determine exactly which kinds of plants extinct herbivores were eating. You know, like, how do you actually test that? So...
You check their
Yeah.
poop.
Yeah. I know.
Watch your mouth.
Droppings? Yeah. You could look through coprolites, but it's often difficult to figure out who left those droppings. Like Karen Chin says, you don't know who the poopatrator was. It's tricky to actually match to the critter that left them. Oh, you're good. Oh, that's not my place to say you're good. That's his gear there. Yeah. And Scaveri says, do they not make bread from cycad seeds in Africa? Not in Africa, to my knowledge. In Japan. There's an island I think it's off of one of the main Japanese islands, where there's just sago cycads, Cycas revoluta, everywhere. And the local people will take the seeds and I think also maybe the trunks from the cycads. And there's a special preparation process where you can leach the toxins out in order to be able to make bread and almost like a rice noodle kind of thing too. But it's a ton of work, but it's a tradition, and people are really into it there. Oh, we got a fossil leaf here. Check that out.
Look at that. That's worth collecting.
That's the prettiest one so far, and that looks like it won't just dry up and turn to dust. Yeah.
2 of them, right?
I've got another one over here, but it's not
Well,
nearly as
one
pretty as
here.
this. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's one right there. Yeah.
Can I see again?
Yeah, and then I'll show
Before you
chat. Yeah.
Chat.
Wait your turn, chat.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'll grab a bag and some TP for you
Excellent. Yeah.
and a marker.
Thanks, Nick. Check that out. So that is a fossil leaf right here, about 73 million years old. If you look closely, you might even be able to see the veins in the leaf. It's in this dark spot here. And there's another little one right there, too. Very nice. I'm going to take a picture of it. Because there's always a chance with fossil plants like this, it just fades when it's exposed to the air. So, yeah. Photo documentation, but take a look at that. Pretty cool, right? That's a plant that lived here 73 million years ago, give or take.
Andy, where'd you hide the action packer?
It's right over there. Yeah, sorry.
No, you hit it pretty well.
Not a bad thing. Yeah. Vul100 says, very cool. Thank you, Vul. Appreciate that. Yeah. And Docent places, why would it fade? Often, they're not particularly well permineralized, so it might still be some of the original organic material in there. And it's kind of just like a film on the surface of the rock. So it's really easy for it to just kind of disintegrate when exposed to the air. So we're going to wrap it up real quick and hope that it lasts on its way back to the laboratory, because that is pretty cool. To my knowledge, there's not a whole lot of plants that are named from the almond formation, so this could be a new species right here, you know? We don't know. None of us are plant people here. You're not a plant person, right, Eric?
Not really.
No.
I knew the basics.
Yeah. You probably know more than I do. I eat a lot of plants, but I don't really study them. Yeah. Can you see the ridges on the leaf's edge, or is my mind making things up? It says beyond the grave. Well, let's take a look. I'll give you another look here. So part of it's broken off right here, but you can actually see the edge of it right there, and I think you can see the veins in there too.
Right.
Pretty neat. And yeah, there too.
Is it just a chunk?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Beautiful. Nice stuff. Very nice. I've heard that paleobotanists in the field will sometimes take fixative spray, like Krylon spray, and just go shh over the surface in order to keep it from fading. We don't have that with us. We weren't expecting to find fossil plants here. But yeah.
That's too small.
Nice. All
I
right.
mean,
Boss man.
Would
Is
it-
it
Thanks.
bladed or is it roundish?
It looks round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see any
it's not
serrations
teeth.
on it.
Very
Yeah.
nice. Little leaf.
Yeah. Not too shabby.
We don't have any TP, but.
Oh, that'll work. Paper towel's fine.
hey,
Yeah.
little bone here.
Oh, you got bone?
Found over
Nice.
here.
Thank you.
Under a small patch.
Let me
of
wrap this up. You want to take a look at that, Nick?
Yeah. It's just under a little bone chunk under a small patch of grass.
Nice.
Roundish.
So, probably more here.
got it so we could map it out.
All right.
And then here's your Sharpie.
Thank you. Lovely. Do a little bit more.
I think I may have found more where
Really? Where at?
right here.
Oh.
It looks rounded right here.
Today's the 3rd?
Today is
Yep.
the 3rd. Just call it, yeah, I guess the site name.
Yeah.
Plant.
Bow.
There you go. That's a solid leaf find.
Yeah, not too shabby. It's our best one yet. Hopefully we'll find ones that'll put this to shame. We'll go, why did we even bag that one up? It's garbage compared to these new beautiful. One can always hope.
Any paleobotanists in the chat? Anyone interested? Curious.
We do have a couple of plant people who are regulars, but I'm not sure if any of them are here right now. Yeah. Moxie Drinker says, please tell Nick I sent him a request over Instagram.
Okay.
Nice.
I'll accept that as soon as I have service and my phone's not dead. But thank you. What's up?
You moved your foot.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna. This guy.
All right, nice. Thank you for grabbing that, Nick.
No problem.
Excellent.
You put me on the goose chase trying to find that.
The action packer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some vehicles drive by earlier, and one of them went up the little road right near the site. So I'm like, oh shoot, let me move some of our gear so it's not as visible. And yeah, it turned out to be invisible to Nick also, at least for a minute. But yeah.
Nope. There goes our rock.
No.
And Moore's Anguis says, it looks like a nice day in Wyoming to be working outside. Yeah, it's not too bad. Haven't seen any tornadoes yet. No icicle storms or anything like that. No thunder, no lightning. We're doing pretty well. Just gnats, but even they have relented a little bit. So that's nice. Alvoria says, I just got out of a tornado watch. Oh, shoot. Well, I'm glad you're safe. Between a tornado watch and stuff.
I think the warning is conditions.
Is conditions and watch mean... No, I think it's the other way around, isn't it? Isn't watch like...
That is backwards in Pennsylvania then.
Maybe. I get the feeling a lot of things are backwards in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong.
Hey, Nick, get the terrible town.
Yeah.
I'll grab that soon. So I get my...
Yeah. Watch is conditions, warning is there is one spotted. Thank you, Casey Snowart. That's what I said, right?
Hey, don't listen to me. I don't know anything.
I mean, you had a 50-50 shot.
Yeah. I suck on those types of tests too, so...
Yeah.
Again, that's why I'm doing paleo, not meteo.
Not meteorology, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's...
Glue.
Mustard.
I was thinking about that the other day, how like, you know, I feel like we've got kind of a ragtag group of paleontologists and students and volunteers out here. And it's like in those tornado movies, where they're like, the heroes are like a ragtag bunch, and then they're like, the villains, like, they all have uniforms and like all of the best technology, and they're the mean ones, you know. I feel like we're the good guys out here. and hope there aren't even any bad guys yet. Cross your fingers that it stays that way.
That one guy.
If we see some paleontologists show up from AMH or something, and they all have uniforms and
Suits,
really
business
fancy
suits.
Land Cruisers and stuff.
Mercedes.
No, it would be G-Wagons or something, huh?
Probably. They have a sponsorship.
Yeah, the Mercedes. Yeah. The Salamander says in a tornado movie, the tornado is the bad guy. I suppose that's probably true, huh? I've never actually watched a tornado movie all the way through, so you would know better than I would. Yeah. And how large of plant fossils have been found generally, asks Gopher Fluffernutt. There are some plant fossils that are enormous. Like, I don't know, giant lycopod trees and stuff like that from the Paleozoic.
Archaeopteryx.
Yeah, Archaeopteryx, not to be confused with Archaeopteryx. Yeah. There are fossil redwood trees and stuff like that. Get really, really big. But most of the stuff that we'll be collecting from sites like this, you know, it'll be individual leaves. So not the biggest.
Did get a log.
Yeah, do we have any logs yet from the almond?
Whoa.
Like big logs?
Oh no, I don't think they're like petrified wood or anything.
Yeah. You got a little bit of sunscreen here on your cheek. Almost. Do that one more time and I think you'll get it. You got it, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When did they say anything?
On this side too.
I've been looking like a goof.
By your side.
I mean, it's better to have sunscreen on your face than not have sunscreen on your face.
Did I get it? Am I looking
Yeah.
glamorous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And Casey Snort says, favorite paleo plant? Go. I'm going to say Zimites. Fossil cycadioid from the Mesozoic. Are we doing genus and species? I don't know. Anyway, favorite fossil plants, guys?
I mean, there's few around, but ginkgo.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. They were super common and super diverse during the Mesozoic.
I was gonna say ginkgo. I was gonna say ginkgo, but since Eric took that, maybe the monkey puzzle tree.
Oh, yeah. Araucaria.
Yeah.
Nice.
You talk about
I'm growing a monkey puzzle tree at home.
Really?
Yeah, it's about this tall now. But I grew it from a seed.
Nice.
So it's been doing really well. Hopefully, Lordy and Ios are remembering to water the plants about once a month while I'm gone. But, yeah. And Diagonal, who is a plant person, says, favorite paleo plant? Sphenophyllum, an early fossil horsetail that had broad leaves. A broad-leaved horsetail. Cool. They are really neat. I want to grow some of those, too.
They taste like hot dogs.
What?
No.
Are you talking about an actual horse's tail?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about cattails?
No, horsetail. Cattails look like hot dogs.
And Aphromatics says, how do you find out exactly where to look for fossils? I'm sure you use tools to research areas, just genuinely curious. No, great question, Aphromatics. Here in the Almond Formation in Wyoming, we're lucky in that this area was previously explored for fossils. In 1938, Barnum Brown, who's the guy who discovered T-Rex, he was working in this area and found a whole bunch of different dinosaurs. And so I think he called it the Mesa Verde Formation at the time. Now we call it the Almond. It's been split. Anywho, we knew that he was in this area digging up dinosaurs, and so we also knew that nobody had really found any dinosaurs here within the past 80 years or so. And so Ethan Cowgill, who's our expedition leader, he said, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go look for dinosaurs. And started finding them. So a big part of it is finding the right layers of rocks. So if you know that dinosaurs come from the Almond Formation, you got to make sure you find out where the Almond Formation is exposed on the surface. So if you look out there across the valley, you'll see these different colored bands of rocks. They're kind of going at an up angle like that. Yeah, the kind of yellowish ones there, I believe those are the almond right there. And then they're overlying the, is that the, oh shoot, the Erickson sandstone beneath it, which is white. I think I might have this mixed up. Anyway, I haven't really I actually haven't done hardly any prospecting in the almond, so I haven't had to think about this sort of thing too much. Sites and dig once something gets found. But yeah, once you know where those geological formations outcrop, where they're exposed on the surface, you go and walk around and prospect. You look for bones that are spilling out on the surface. You follow them in, find the source, start digging. That's what we've done here. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, and some of the tools that we use for that are geological maps. So most of Earth's rocks have been mapped and kind of loosely dated. So most rocks on planet Earth, we know roughly how old they are. And there's these lovely maps called geological maps where they're all color-coded. It almost looks like a big paint-by-numbers kind of deal. And the different colors represent different ages of rock. For instance, like Cretaceous age rocks, like we're digging in here, they're usually represented by a green color, or various green colors on the map. You'll have different shades of green for different ages of Cretaceous rocks. Jurassic are usually blue, Triassic are usually purple, and so on and so forth. So you'll consult your geological maps if you want to, find areas in which to explore for fossils. And then you'll kind of cross-reference that with satellite images that show where the rocks are actually on the surface. Because it won't do you very much good to find a ton of beautiful Cretaceous rock, and then you go out there and it's a forest, or it's a Walmart parking lot, or whatever. So you got to figure out where the rocks are actually exposed on the surface. And areas like this are brilliant for that because it's a pretty dry area, there's a lot of erosion, there's a lot of rock exposed as a result. We're not being shaded by trees right now because this area is too dry for trees. So instead of forest, you've got kind of scrubland with a lot of exposed rock all over the place. Beautiful territory for finding fossils. Hope that makes sense. And we're getting a raid from Bull Raxon. Holy cow. Welcome to Paleontologizing. It is good to have you here. We're here digging dinosaurs in the late Cretaceous Almond Formation of southwest Wyoming, kind of near the town of Green River. And yeah, we're digging up a brand new duckbill dinosaur here. Almost certainly a new species. So let me know if you got any questions. How was your stream, by the way? I hope it was really, really good. Thanks for bringing everybody in here. What did you get up to during stream? Let's see. Some just chatting. Nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. So hello to you. All these new chatters. Holy cow. Astoria, Stephanie, Red Dog, Krista Tigley, Gino GM, Yes Siree, and Bull Raxon. Hey, thank you. Scambuster, Karina Sue, Heaven's Fury, Montucky. I used to live in Montana for the better part of a decade. We would sometimes call it Montucky. I think it's also a beer label, Montucky. Sister T, how is everybody? Yeah. And Thalie Roos says, how can you tell it's probably a new species? A lot of that is due to the exact age of these rocks. So from the Almond Formation, we know we have dinosaurs here, but there's no dinosaurs that have been named from this formation. And so this exact age of rocks in this place has never been super, super well explored for dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs that have been dug up, some of them have been lost. The point is there's no dinosaurs named from here. And since dinosaurs evolve really quickly, we know that from this particular time, these dinosaurs should be new. Does that make sense? Yeah. And Hey Hi Jules, Asian Passion T, Michael Surplus, Huck5, Jinja Ninja, and Mel Miel. Thank you all for being here. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Yeah. Good stuff. So anyway, in order to make sure that this thing is new, we can't assume that it will be. We just have every reason to think it probably will be. We'll get these fossils back to the laboratory. They'll be prepared, cleaned, studied, photographed, maybe even 3D scanned, and then these will be compared side by side with other closely related dinosaurs. So we'll be looking at all of these bones, comparing them to the same bones in the skeletons of other duckbill dinosaurs from the same family. And if we find some unique features, which we expect we will, then we can name it as a new species. Does that make sense? Yeah. And Flick This says, this seems pretty interesting. Thank you. Again, welcome. It's good to have you here. Yeah. Man, the gnats are coming back. The sun is out again, and the gnats are biting me. Yeah. Huck5 says, well, that's pretty darn exciting. Thanks, Huck. It is pretty exciting, isn't it? Yeah. We're lucky to be here, even if we are getting bitten by gnats.
I know, the gnats are back.
Yeah. And I will be back in a second after I dump this bin full of matrix over there. But think of some good questions to ask, especially all the new folks here. Yeah.
The arthropods are back. Where that's from?
What?
The arthropods are back.
That sounds familiar.
With monsters.
Yeah.
Right, as soon as during the Carboniferous. What was that primitive spider? It's not a spider. It's something sea lay.
Starts with an A, right?
Yeah.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Anyways, he goes, the arthropods are back.
Is that the same narrator as in Walking with Dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Kenneth Branagh? Man, I got gnat bites
Look at my
all over
really
me now.
bad made towel. It's super bad. It's terrible, actually. Whoever get these gnats out of here.
That might get the gnats away, yeah. Or it might attract them because it's yellow. So this is a Pittsburgh thing? Explain this for the non-Pittsburghers in chat.
So, if you like football, right, this is the Steelers thing. The thing that you do when you go to a Steeler game is you get the terrible towel and you wail it around. Not hit yourself, but wail it around like this.
Okay.
Honestly, it's pretty good at knocking
touchdowns,
flies
like-
out. Yeah, when the touchdown,
Uh-huh.
you know, the crowd goes crazy and they go, woo!
So it's an implement of celebration.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wondered why it was called a terrible town.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Rooting for your team.
Huh. Dino Towelus. Terrible towel. Yeah. And Geek Store says it's one of the better traveling fan bases. You see lots of yellow in Baltimore, Cleveland, other places.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah. And The Life Is Yours says, I saw a video of someone that attached a fake firefly to their hat, and they kept away basically all the mosquitoes around them. You guys should give that a go. It's an interesting idea. How does that work, though? A fake firefly, and like, how does it... Not sure I understand. Yeah.
When they attract moths.
Just the moths all around us. No, during the daytime, I think moths all fly up toward the sun until they can't fly any higher in the atmosphere, and then when the sun goes down, then they go toward the moon. If there's no moon, then they go into your fire. That's how it works, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we're scientists here. And if the moths are big enough, then they can actually break through the atmosphere, like Mothra, and then they
Fly
fly
into
toward the
space.
sun, yeah.
Fly into space and he creates Space Godzilla.
Exactly,
guys.
yeah.
The lore of Space Godzilla.
One of our new folks says, wait, are you serious? And Claire, moderator, says, he is not. Thank you, Claire, yes. Yeah.
Nuts.
Oh, I meant dragonfly, says The Life Is Yours. That would make sense, actually.
Can I just...
If we just get some plastic, you dress up as a dragonfly?
Actually dress up like Batman. Because, you know, bats eat mosquitoes, so...
They do, but do Batmen eat mosquitoes? I think it might be the other way around. I think mosquitoes might eat Batmen bit by little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a comic book guy.
Iron Heart.
Yeah.
I am vengeance.
Anywho, but yeah, you could dress up like a dragonfly. You do some Mega Nuera cosplay. But that would be pretty neat, actually. I used to have some plastic dragonflies when I was a kid. It's an interesting concept. But then again, I'm not sure gnats are smart enough to be able to recognize the silhouette of a dragonfly and stay away. You know? I'd be willing to give it a shot, but gnats don't strike me as the most fun. Oh, here's an interesting bug. This is a snake fly. Here, go onto my hand, please. Oh, there he goes.
So I had one of those land on me, and then he started drilling his head into my skin.
Really?
Yeah.
Did it have a long neck?
Yeah, it was this guy.
Oh, it's the same guy. You see him? Where is he?
Right here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's where he went. Huh. I don't think they bite people, do they?
I was like, look how cool this bug looks, and then he started, like, biting me. Like, whoa.
Maybe it was a personal beef.
I know.
We had that once.
Where'd he go? Okay.
I was told a story about this. I wasn't there. I wasn't present for it. But in the Hell Creek, we had somebody who worked for Museum of the Rockies. We'll call her Abby. And yeah, there was this beetle that went and landed on her leg. And she was like, oh, cool. And she like picks it up by the antennae, apparently, which is like not a nice thing to do. And like to be able to pull out a bug book and identify it. She's like, oh, that's really neat. And then it bit her, I guess, on the leg. And in the book it said that they only eat wood. So then everybody joked that Abby had a wooden leg after that. I guess it's not as funny in retelling, but especially when I'm not using the real names. But it'd be funnier if you know these people. And yeah.
Got a peg leg, an eye patch.
Well, Jake's halfway there.
Poor Jake.
Do you encounter a lot of exotic critters out there, like scorpions, tarantulas, snakes? We've had a couple of scorpions so far, and some spiders. I don't think I've seen any snakes so far. Somebody said they saw a gopher snake yesterday at one of the other sites, I think, or maybe on the way to one of the sites. But this morning I saw a pronghorn antelope, and we saw a bunch of wild horses out here, and some of them are really close to the road, which is pretty cool. I've never seen wild horses that close up before, so that was kind of a treat. Yeah, that's the nice thing about my car too, is it's pretty quiet. It's a Prius, and so if you're going slow enough, you're just using the electric engine, and so we were able to just kind of scoot by, and the horses didn't gallop off because there was a giant roaring diesel or anything, you know? Yeah. And free-range ponies. Yes, indeed. Shaun of the Dead, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of wild horses out here. Mustangs, as they call them. And we've been lucky to be able to see a bunch of them so far. First year I've been able to see a bunch of Mustangs. We know they're out here, but they've been elusive for the past 2 years while I was here. Stadler and Waldorf says, I'm a city guy. I'm over the moon when I see a cow. I appreciate your attitude there. Yeah. Finding magic in the simple things. Gosh darn these gnats.
Is it terrible towel time?
Yeah, spin that thing around. Keep doing that for the next hour. Pumpkin the cat says, how do you know that you're digging up hadrosaurs? Because there's hadrosaur bones. Last year there were a whole bunch of bits of hadrosaur bones spilling down the hill here. And follow the trail up to the source, and that's where we are. Nothing in here screams hadrosaur to me yet, but again, we're just starting off, and yeah, hopefully we'll find some diagnostically hadrosaurian stuff later. But for right now, it's just, you know, weird bones where we can't quite identify them yet.
Yeah. This is not bone here yet, so I'm not too sure what's going on. This is bone. That's bone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we will make sure to bring the bug spray tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys have any of your own? I've got some I can
I do not.
Yeah, I got some.
I can bring. Okay, cool.
I did not remember the bugs being this bad last
They
year.
were not this bad last year, yeah. I was telling Chat earlier that there are sites in Utah where they just can't work until July because the whole month of June, it's just, there's gnats everywhere.
Ooh.
They like get into your eyeballs and they just bite you all over, and it's
Ew.
just incessant. Yeah, like June is gnat season in certain parts of Utah. But some crews who have figured out a solution where they have generators and they have these huge industrial fans blowing on the quarry. So any gnats that try and come by just get swept away.
You could use some of that.
We could,
Yeah,
except
this
a generator would be a pain in the butt to run out here. And it would be really loud, and everybody going up that road would be like, oh, why do they have a generator?
Drone flybys.
Yeah.
Get the gnats out.
We just need like a ton of Venus flytraps all over the place. Just like 10,000 of them.
Are there any giant primitive Venus fly traps that we know of?
Oh, and Game Over says we use Skin So Soft for sand fleas. Game Over, that is exactly what Jim Kirkland recommends. He says Avon Skin So Soft is what works for repelling gnats. And I wonder if we can get any of that in town.
What is that?
It's like a spray, like a skin softening spray stuff, like skincare stuff.
I tried it in Utah.
Yeah?
It did not work for me.
Oh, really? Interesting. Good to know. Yeah, some people swear by it, but other people are like, what do you Yeah. And Anka Soon, hey, thank you for the raid. Welcome to Paleontologizing. How you doing? Good to have you here. Thanks for raiding in. How was your stream, Anka Soon? I hope it was really good. Playing something called Balatro.
Electro.
What's that?
Card
It's
game.
a card game.
Oh, yeah, I think I've seen this, yes.
I've not played it, but
Very
I
popular,
don't
right?
Get what the hype is.
Yeah. Nice.
Just play solitaire.
And it was great? I'm glad to hear it. Favorite card game is 52 card pickup. Or a dinosaur memory match.
I played 52 card pickup in Uno. I just could not get the right card.
I think that means you lost. Alright, I'm going to do my best to get rid of this wall right here and not have it fall on you.
Yeah, I'll just lightly brush.
Yeah. And these gnats are aggravating. I'm going to have so many bites on me later. You know, it's frustrating. I try to be kind to all of Earth's creatures, and then some of them come and try and bite me, and I can try and bite them back, but that would be fatal to them. So, I don't know. I'm in a bind, guys. Stop biting me. Don't do it. I don't want to hurt you. Zitrat says, what a crazy find all the way up there. It's funny you say that, Zitrat, because 73 million years ago, when this dinosaur lived, this was at sea level. And now we're at what, like 7,000 feet up here? So there's been a lot of uplift in the time since then. So it is all the way up here, and that's fun to think about. A lot can happen in 70 million years. Property, says Papey. It actually was, yeah. I need to remember to bring my visual aid printouts tomorrow, my laminated ones, and I can show you what we're talking about when we say that this is beachfront property. Kind of a deltaic, floodplainy environment. Right near the ancient Western Interior Seaway. Let's chat. Now you can see the bone there. I wonder if I were to crush up some sage and like rub it on, if that would keep the gnats away. Let me try this real quick. Just trying to be. Watch me have like a terrible allergic reaction.
Yeah, or they just love sage. They just like boom, all on you.
Oh, it starts attracting mountain lions
Yeah.
or pronghorn. Like, wow, this guy smells so herbalicious.
And I'll let you take down that wall when you're done.
This one?
Yeah, because
It's already almost gone. I already got started.
Trying to think where I could go because we're running out of space for me.
Yeah. Herbalicious definitely makes the bugs go loco. I can't read your username. It's Mother Toad's Nursery Rhymes. Oh, that's a great name. It's like really, really light color on a white background. Yeah.
You don't use dark theme? I guess it's kind of hard to see.
It is hard to see, yeah. I normally use dark theme because it uses less battery on my phone, but it makes it really difficult to read in sunlight.
I'm surprised nobody's ever come up with a technological advancement where you could look at your screen in sunlight.
Yeah, they do. They do have that. There's like e-readers that have that, like
Really?
Paperwhite technology, whatever they call it. Yeah.
Well, why is it implemented?
On a smartphone, I don't know. That's a good question.
You can get a little sunlight.
And Gucci Clone says, "Yep, most IRL streamers use light mode." Good to know. Nice. Makes sense. Zalat wants to know, are dinosaur bones expensive on the black market? They are, and I wouldn't recommend trying to buy them. It's something that can be really detrimental to our science in general.
They are priceless.
Yeah. Like a wise man once said, that belongs in a museum.
Freddie hates Star Wars. Turns into a red Hulk.
Have you seen that clip where I think it was on the Conan O'Brien show? He had Harrison Ford as a guest, and he says that he has a clip from the Star Wars Holiday Special, and Harrison Ford like jumps out of his seat and like goes to strangle him, like jokingly, but also like you could tell he was actually mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This nodule. Big shape to it.
Oh yeah.
That piece of bone?
I think it's an endocast.
Ooh,
There's a
like a
fossil
little-
brain right there. I'm totally kidding.
That's cool.
Have you heard folks joking about that in camp?
No.
Oh, looks like an endocast. We had a guy from the UK come out here in 2023. Really nice guy. It's great to have him in the field, but like it may have been one of his first times doing field work. And one time he picked up just a random rock, and he's like, "Oh, you think this is an endocast?" So like the like a fossil brain. It's like probably not. Very optimistic.
That's why we should not make assumptions in the field.
Let's see. And oh, did we get another raid? Octavius King, thank you for raiding in again. How are you doing and how mischievous little beady-eyed mammals? Also, how are the rats? Welcome, Octavius King and Raiders. See, I got the joke right this time for once. Welcome back to Paleontologizing. Continuing to dig up our duckbill dinosaur here, and trying not to get eaten too much by these gnats that are all over the place. Yeah. Good stuff. And And thank you, Stadler and Waldorf, for being here. Sleep well. I hope to see you next time. Yeah. Anywho.
Eric.
Burglar says, would be cool to have a velociraptor skeleton in my living room. People have done that. Velociraptor is only from Mongolia. And it is illegal to export fossils, dinosaur fossils, out of Mongolia. And so, famously, there were some celebrities who purchased dinosaur skeletons on the black market, or gray market, or whatever. They were seized by the Department of Homeland Security and brought back to Mongolia. So Nicolas Cage actually bought a Tyrannosaur skeleton. Oh, yeah. Got a vehicle going by. Keep going. We try and be inconspicuous here when there's vehicles going up and down the road, because we don't want to advertise that there's dinosaurs here, because we don't want poachers to come through, or vandals, or Visigoths, or any kind of barbarian.
Nice imprint.
Yeah. Get it? Vandals, and then Visigoths. Never mind.
Yeah.
There was a human here.
Huguenots. Yeah. What were we talking about?
Mongolian black market Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, thank you. Nicolas Cage. Move.
What's up?
You know, these things
You're
belong
doing
in
a good
museums.
job.
Thank you.
But if you do want a velociraptor skeleton in your living room, which who among us doesn't, you can buy a replica. It's a lot cheaper, and it won't be seized by the Department of Homeland Security. It's also, you know, you won't have to keep it in like a humidity-controlled environment. You won't have to be careful, like, not to break it. You could just glue it back together and it'd be fine if it's a replica like that. But yeah, there's even files available online where you can 3D size. I have some of those files, and one of these days I'll go ahead and print that skeleton once I make some space for it. Yeah. And too many gnats on the radar. What's going on with the... Make sure this hasn't overheated or something. We still going? Yeah, we're still going. And it's just this, I think, satellite internet is being finicky. Yeah. And Anodon Quinine says, just got an ad for the Creation Museum? Wait, on Twitch? Seriously? You're kidding me. That would be really crazy. Shoot. The Creation Museum in Kentucky, from Answers in Genesis. That is bonkers. I've heard that before, says Clairebear. That's nuts. Jeez. I wonder if I can request that we don't get those. Anyway, if you don't want to see ads from the Creation Museum or other pseudoscientific things, if you don't want to get an ad for, I don't know, the Unicorn Superstore or, what's another, like, mythical thing?
Cyclops.
There we go, yeah. If you don't want to get ads from Cyclops R Us or...
Minotaur.
the Minotaur Superstore, you can subscribe to Paleontologizing for $6 a month. Not only will you be supporting science outreach, but also you'll get access to all of those cool dinosaur emotes that I made. And you won't have to watch any ads at all, which I think is pretty sweet. The Church of Bigfoot. Thank you, Wave Depletion, yeah.
Now hold on.
Manticore and more. These are great, chat. Yeah. Yeah. Only $6 is the life is yours? Yeah. I don't normally do this where I'm like, oh, yo, please, you know, Smash that like button. Mangle the subscribe. No, I don't normally do that kind of thing. Murph, thank you, though, for the 5 gift subs. I appreciate that. Yeah. But if they give us that kind of opportunity... Exactly, Claire. Yeah. Yeah. And yes, Amazon Prime is an option, too. If any of you are subscribed to Amazon Prime, then you get 1 free Twitch sub every single month. You have to, like, manually go in and redo it. It won't be recurring. But if anybody has a Prime sub that's just lying around, you know, we could really use that here. I would appreciate it a lot. And thank you, Mark Melvin, for the 5 gift subs. Beautiful. Yeah. Petrodactylus says, smash that like button, be sure to comment and subscribe, and here's a message from Raid Shadow Legends. Oh boy. Mangle some merch. Yeah. And thank you, Moxie Drinker, for the bits there too. I appreciate that. Yeah. Pursue says, I got the National Gnat Museum ad. I think it's a hustle. I wish we could send all of these guys to the National Gnat Museum that are buzzing around. Yeah, let me drink some more water.
Deserve it.
What's that?
They don't deserve it.
Yeah, to be accessioned in a museum. Let's see. Check out the bio for Danny's Only Fossils link. Oh boy. Maybe one of these days. I'm
gonna put this bucket right here
Go
for
for
a
it,
second. Sorry, Eric. I gotta get
That's
this
all right.
stuff here.
Yeah.
I'm used to it.
Agrobacterium says Creation Museum no good. You should debate Ken Ham. Yeah, he wishes. I'm not gonna platform him like that. I don't know. There's an old phrase that debating a young Earth creationist is a lot like wrestling with a pig. You know, you both get dirty, but the pig likes it. Not always a productive thing, you know? Oh, and I was not making a pig... Not and ham. Sorry. No, it's an old phrase. I'm not trying to make fun of somebody based on their surname. You can make fun of somebody based on the fact that they're a charlatan and they make a living lying to children and stuff like that, but... You know, I try not to make fun of people for things that they can't change about themselves, you know? It's not really fair. It's like shooting monkeys in a barrel, you know?
Why would you do that?
Exactly, yeah. But he loves monkeys.
Orangutans driving golf carts.
Have you seen the recut version of that where it's the orangutan driving through a zoo, and then but it's playing like the Sopranos theme song?
No.
Like at the opening for the Sopranos, and then at the end it says the Zoopranos.
Zoopranos.
It's pretty good. Recommend you check it out, chat, if that sounds of music to you. Yeah. Oh, there's our snake fly again. Oh, where'd he go? Huh. It was right there on my shoulder. Alright. Getting close to the bone layer over here. Maybe we start seeing some bones. Gonna have to slow down the pace a little bit. But right now, just this... oh, we could even have a leaf in there. Could we be so lucky? Yeah, there we go. Ho 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 ho! Ooh, like magic. There it is. Check that out. Another fossil leaf. That's a, ooh,
Oh.
super delicate one.
Oh, it's gone. It's. Oh, I still somewhat see it.
There's part of it there. You can see the veins on the leaf. Yeah. But yeah, really delicate. Let's see, Eric. Just right there at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
On this end too.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it happens. Again,
Super
some of these things you
comfy.
just can't salvage. They're just too delicate. Yeah, right there. All those veins. There was a beautiful fossil leaf right here, and now we can only see part of it, but that's the vein pattern within the leaf.
Nick ruined it.
Yeah, it wasn't your fault.
It was very. That fell right out of your hand.
It did.
Oh, so you're blaming me?
Yeah, you went to pass it and the corner broke.
Puggo Wuggo says, you ever discover a new species while live on Twitch? Well, I don't know if we've ever discovered one, but we've dug up at least 4 new species of dinosaur on Twitch. 2 in Utah, and 2 here in Wyoming. And this is one of them, this new duckbill dinosaur. We could even have more than one species of duckbill, but I've streamed from probably 3 or 4 or 5 different duckbill dinosaur sites here in the Almond Formation. I'm going to say, just for the sake of, not claiming too much, being on the conservative side of things, I'm going to assume for the moment that these are all the same species of duckbill, just different individuals that we're digging up here in Wyoming, but who knows, we could get into, if we find a skull bone, or sometimes the hips can be diagnostic too, that this is a lambeosaurine rather than a saurolophine hadrosaur. That would make it new, which would be really cool.
What makes you so positive that it's a lambeosaurine?
I'm not positive.
Oh.
No, I'm saying, if we found parts of the skull or parts of the hips, those can be indicative of it being a lambeosaurine.
Yep.
Even if you don't have anything complete. If the snout looks really narrow, if any of the bones there look really gracile, if you've got, is it lambeosaurines or saurolophines that have got the big prong on the ischium? I want to say it's lambeosaurines.
Oh, I'm not too sure on that.
Could be saurolophines, I don't know. So, anyway, yeah. But here in the Almond Formation, I've streamed from, let's count the different hadrosaur sites. There's this one. There's the Barnum Brown one with the bucket, so that's 2. I think we call that Dell site. There's the Lex site, which is 3. There's T-Bone, which is 4. Is that it so far?
Did you do Skull Ridge?
Oh, Skull Ridge, yeah, 5, yeah. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, 5 different duckbill dinosaurs, 5 different individual duckbill dinosaurs. Maybe they're all the same species, or maybe they're different species. We don't know yet. But yeah, exciting stuff. And Tomic wants to know, is there an international law about fossils? Not really, no. It depends, yeah. Laws regarding fossils vary from country to country. If I want to buy legally a very common fossil of a leaf to support research, do I have the right? Tomic, yeah. That will usually not support research, though. If you just want to have a common fossil to have in your home and show your friends and family, that kind of thing, then that's cool. Trilobites, maybe fossil fishes from the Green River Formation, ammonites, stuff like that. Most of the time that's cool, with some exceptions. But dinosaur fossils tend to be much more rare, and so that's usually not cool. In most countries that have dinosaur fossils, fossils automatically belong to the people. They're part of the collective natural heritage of that country. They're not supposed to be bought and sold, and they're not supposed to be on a private market. The U.S. is different, though, unfortunately, in my opinion. If they are on private land in the U.S., then they belong to the private landowner. It doesn't matter if it's the most important dinosaur fossil ever found. If it's on private land, then the landowner can do with it what he pleases. He could sell it, he could grind it into dust to fertilize his crops, he could give it to a dog to chew, whatever, Yeah. But in a lot of other countries, Canada, Mongolia, like we were talking about,
Argentina.
China, Argentina, Brazil, these places with like important dinosaur fossils, important vertebrate fossils in general, they belong to the people. They belong in a museum.
Good job.
To be enjoyed by everybody and studied by scientists. You know, it's kind of seeing these things as scientific objects, as scientific specimens, rather than like, you know, rather than private property. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
This rock.
And
They're sheep.
are there evolving laws when bones are found on indigenous territory in the U.S.? I'm not sure about that in Canada. Even I live there. In Canada, generally, fossils, you know, they're part of the collective natural heritage of Canada. And so I think, even on indigenous people's lands, like First Nations lands, I think they still need to go to a museum. Here in the U.S., as I understand it, all Indian lands, as we call them in the U.S., I think they're considered like, well, it depends. They might be BLM, they might be Bureau of Land Management lands, or they might be private lands or tribal lands. I'm sure it's case by case, like depending on where exactly you are. But yeah, and it'll vary based on what exactly the land ownership is. And a message from Moxie Drinker. Would you mind asking Nick if he's ever gone to Calvert Cliffs, which I think is in North Carolina, to hunt for fossils? Oh, in Maryland, sorry. You ever been to Maryland to hunt for fossils? Calvert Cliffs?
Nope.
Moxie Drinker wants to know if you want to.
I'll have to see. I don't know. Is that legal? Can I do that?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know there's certain tolls like you can't bring.
I'm not totally sure about Calvert Cliffs. I think part of it might be private land. Yeah. But if they're invertebrate fossils, even on public land, it's legal to collect them. Mm-hmm. In most cases. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. Nick's a busy guy, but yeah, maybe. Yeah, get in contact with him. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a thesis to wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Puggo Wuggo says, how much do replicas of fossils typically go for? I heard The Rock got a cast of Stan the T-Rex's skull for thousands of dollars. Yeah. So something that big is just going to be, it's going to cost thousands of dollars just in raw material. Like getting enough resin, like the really high quality plastic that you can cast like that. That alone, just buying that much resin is going to cost thousands of dollars. Let alone, you know, molding it, casting it, sanding it, assembling it, painting it. So yeah, something like that. I think it's probably like, I think a T-Rex skull like that will generally go for about $10,000 for a replica. But I don't know. For some people, that's a ton of money, like me. But for some people, like, that's chump change. You know, that's nothing for a T-Rex skull. So yeah. But there are different sites where you can look at this sort of thing to get an idea of the pricing. Sites like Bone Clones, sites like Valley Anatomical. If you're looking for a whole skeleton, GastonDesign.com is a site I would recommend. With a friend of the stream, Rob Gaston, who's one of the best in the world at molding and casting. And he's got stuff you can't get anywhere else.
Was Gastonia named after him?
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah. He was involved with the discovery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gastonia and Utah Raptor.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yeah. And you can get a cast of both of those dinosaurs from Gaston Design. I'm working with a museum right now that is ordering a bunch of casts from Rob Gaston. And I'm really happy about that. His prices are way, way lower than most other companies. Like, I know, Treebold is much more expensive. Bone Clones tends to be much more expensive. Yeah. Gaston Design is... Rob Gaston's a really good guy. And he always makes sure to give special discounts to museums in particular. Because most museums don't have a ton of money for this kind of thing. So not only are his prices low to start with, but, you know, he makes sure to give museums special treatment. And do they sell full-size sauropod casts? Yes, but they might be juvenile sauropods. Yeah, I'm sure there are places where you can get a full-size sauropod molded and cast.
Be expensive.
It would be expensive. Holy cow. Yeah. I don't know if Gaston has any sauropods at the moment. Trying to think. Paleontology probably has some. You can look at their website if you're curious. Triebold, Treebold. Again, they're pretty pricey. They do good work, certainly, on the world, but they are definitely on the more expensive side of things. Yeah. Belusaurus for 29,000. Wow, Murph, that's actually not that much. I think Belusaurus is a basal sauropodomorph, what we used to call like a prosauropod. That's actually crazy cheap. Unless Belusaurus is smaller than I remember. Yeah.
Look at this curvature. Pretty neat.
What is that?
I was gonna say, set up the Starlink back at camp and find a good 3D model of a Giganotosaurus. And just see if we could.
Yeah, let me show you, chat. This is weird. Because, yeah, now that we found the edge there, it's...
I'm still wary of if this is done or not.
I could see that being part of an ilium, and it... Well, I don't know. That's strange. Here. Let me pick you up, chat. Urgh. So, yeah, do you want to point to the outline so everybody can see?
Yeah, so it's, let me get this out of here. So you could, it starts here and it goes all the way up and around. Not too sure about this yet. It comes all the way back down.
It almost reminds me of a scapula, but why would it have that bump there?
Don't know.
Um,
This bump is, this is something. It got to be a
It's
diagnostic
strange.
of something.
I don't know what that is. That's really weird.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Ethan might have an idea. We'll get some good photos before we leave today,
Oh yeah, we'll definitely.
and we'll be thinking it over every which way.
Back.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I don't know what I'm doing here. I mean, I know what I'm doing, but I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what I'm looking at, but I don't know what I'm looking at.
I mean, you know what you're looking at, but you don't. You know, what are you looking at?
Yeah. I don't know if this is bone still. I mean, it's very seamless, but there's no bone in this.
Strange. I almost wonder if there's like multiple bone pieces that are concreted together that's throwing off the shape or something.
Kind of like the so-called, parietal that we had.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It could be.
Because the shape of it almost makes me think coracoid.
Mm-hmm.
But why would it have that big knob sticking up like that? I don't know. Bizarre.
Well, we'll see in a year from now.
We might even figure it out before then. I'm also trying to think of skull bones that might have that, but if this is a skull bone, this would be an enormous animal, and that doesn't seem like the most parsimonious answer.
It's the T-Rex.
We found it.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is bone stuff here. Does not look like it.
And is Hylaeosaurus still considered valid? Asked Puggo Wuggo. Yeah, it's a weird ankylosaur from England. I think it might be considered a struthiosaur now. The person to ask about that would be Jim Kirkland, actually, later on in the... he works on ankylosaurs. Yeah. How is the sage treating you? I don't know if it's really done much, Suave Oreo, but...
It's a little bit cooler now.
Yeah.
Look at this little piece of coal. Speaking of coal.
Yeah.
Right? Look at that.
could that be? Oh. Could it be a jaw? Could this be part of a dentary?
Part of the...
I mean, but what would that prong be, though, sticking up there?
It's a buglehorn. No. I don't know. I don't see anything. Their dentaries are a little bit smoother.
Yeah.
Okay, found more of this.
Unless.
Yeah? Is that going in?
Oh yeah, look at that.
In this piece.
Let's get you some glue.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh. There. Pour some in on the side here. Here, I have a good angle.
Strike could that be? My guess is still this is part of an ilium.
Yeah.
So the ilium is part of the hips, the big flat bones in the upper part of a dinosaur's hips. This could be maybe where the ilium attaches to the sacral vertebrae or something like that.
This would be like that crest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That could have.
Like this could be anterior part of the ilium, and we're looking at it from the inside, looking out.
Mm-hmm.
So like that would be where the sacral vertebrae go. But I don't know though. Shoot.
Very interesting. Really cool.
Yeah. What a bizarre thing.
For real.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Good job, Nick.
Thank you. Why are you acting like this is my first time doing this?
Perhaps it could be the pubic
You're like
boot.
talking to me like I'm a baby.
That wasn't. I was saying, hey, you're doing a good job down there.
He's like, no. Dig here.
Well, yeah, we got to be careful.
Well, yeah.
If this were part of the pubis, it would be enormous. But I don't think so. I don't think,
Circle.
the two pubes fit together. I don't think they have like a prong here, right?
No, there's it's a
Yeah.
pubic symphysis. And
Right.
It's,
They come together nice and flat like this.
yes, and would
Yeah.
have a little gelatin cartilage.
Uh-huh. So it couldn't be that.
Nice color on it.
Mm-hmm. It's black.
Has like a purple hue.
Oh, man, it got all over my hands.
Yeah, weird. Really weird.
I still have the chair.
The chair.
Geeks Tour says, I just hope it turns out to be something and not a discarded tent peg. This is definitely not a tent peg, no. It's fossil bone. But what? But what? I still wonder if there's, like, rock concreted onto this that's changing the shape.
Mm-hmm.
Here, why don't we put one of these behind you
Right,
so that you don't have to risk getting all kinds of matrix into Eric's toolbox there.
Oh,
Yeah.
too late.
It's filled with dirt.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And Pogo says, do you think this might not be a hadrosaur? Could it be something else? There is always a possibility that you've got bones of multiple different kinds of dinosaur in here. But even if this were not a hadrosaur, I would still have difficulty identifying this. Because generally the bones of different dinosaurs will look similar to one another. Like a tibia you can recognize as a tibia. A femur looks like a femur. An ilium looks like an ilium. This is just kind of baffling me right now. And I bet you there's some sort of simple explanation like, oh, well, there's some rock concreted on this side, which is throwing off the silhouette. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get Matt's opinion on this tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be nice. Huh. Yeah. Weird There's got to be something odd going on with rock concreted onto the surface that's throwing me off. Yeah. So what I'm going to do right now, Chad, is just continue working along here. I'm going to try to get down to that layer where the bones are. Hopefully we've got more bones sitting underneath this rock, but we got to clear it away to be able to see.
You know why? Clean quarry is a happy quarry.
Yep.
Whoopee. What do you think dinosaurs smelled like?
Probably not good.
Like chicken and alligator mixed together.
Yeah, because birds, I don't know, birds have a distinct smell to them. Like, birds smell like birds. Is that because of their feathers, or is that because of their droppings?
Gotta be from the oil that they secrete from their feathers.
That would make a lot of sense, yeah, yeah. So feathered dinosaurs would probably smell different from scaly dinosaurs,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
I just know. The Montosaurus would probably stink. Being a big cow dinosaur.
Carnivora would smell like.
Would they? Because I don't know, would that...
Although would they preen?
They would have to groom themselves somehow, yeah. But I don't know, if you're a predatory animal and you have a really, really strong smell to you,
Yeah.
that's going to give away your position to potential prey. So I would think that that sort of strong smell would be selected against. You know, you would evolve kind of a more stealthy smell. But who knows? Maybe there are examples of modern predatory animals that just smell really strongly.
I bet turkey vultures smell really bad, but they're
I think they smell really good. I think they're real good at smelling.
Oh yeah.
That's stupid old joke.
Miles away.
How long?
My dog's got no nose. How does he smell? Terrible. Yeah.
Must not be a beagle.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've smelled too many large reptiles. They do, I guess, kind of have a smell to them. Like monitor lizards. I've held some big monitor lizards before. Some snakes. I've never held a big croc. Or even a little croc, for that matter. I've never held a live crocodilian.
Really?
I wonder what they smell like.
Have you held one?
I have.
Like a gator?
An alligator, about like 4 foot long, 4.5 foot long gator.
Cool.
I can't remember what he smells like.
Yeah.
The guy was trying to sell me him
Yeah?
because he couldn't bring it back to
In like a
Ohio.
parking lot somewhere in Pittsburgh?
Yeah. No, because I like
mean-
reptiles, so I go to reptile
Sounds-
shows.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know.
It can't have been that distinctive if you don't remember what
Yeah,
it smelled
no,
like.
it definitely was not.
Can you shift a little bit?
Is there bone? Oh shoot! Look at that.
It's
Oh boy.
Okay.
it's quite. Ooh.
Okay. Do you want to hold off? Unless I could move.
Me hold off from doing... What do you mean?
Eric, or maybe I could move up there.
I think it might make sense for you to move up there for now.
Yeah. Let me do
Yeah.
that.
And maybe you come around this way,
Yeah.
and we can kind of
Yeah, because
meet in the middle there as we're moving this rock.
we kind of have the perimeter of this bone.
Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I'm only slightly concerned that we've got a nice depression right here that could fill up with rainwater if we got a rainstorm, but we have the tarp.
Yeah. I was just trying to figure out.
Let's maybe
this bone
put
goes down.
some gear in here around this bone so that it's not a low point and we don't have water collecting in there.
We put a scoop in there too.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Whoops, might be. I wasn't paying attention. I
No,
was
no
seeing-
worries.
I
Not a
was seeing
problem.
how far the bone goes.
Hardly anybody ever thinks about drainage ditches when they're doing a quarry like this, but I've
you
had
know-
some bad experiences.
Maybe if Eric can come through here, you might be able to connect.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
gonna
it's-
try to.
But you might encounter more bone here though and have to slow down again. So
Yeah. Let's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get out
Well,
of here.
I'm gonna go right here. Anyway,
Tell me to get out. I got fired.
get out. You're fired.
anyway, what do binturongs eat? You know, like Bear cats?
Bear dogs or bear cats.
Bear cats, yeah, binturong. Because I know they have a very distinctive smell. They smell like buttered popcorn. Yeah.
Is it from their urine?
I don't know. It might be like a musk gland or something. I bet you it's something that they've specifically evolved. Like, it's something that has some survival advantage to them.
Because tiger urine smells like popcorn.
Does it really?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
So what does the T-Rex pee from Durant 3 smell like?
Like Tang. Like Dr. Pepper. I don't know.
Dr. Pepper.
How did he get the pee?
You don't want to know. Whoa. You okay? Alright, good catch, good catch. Good hustle there, Nick.
Yeah. This stuff is like 5 pounds. Weighs you down. We gotta get that rock out of here.
Yeah,
Give me a second.
yeah, it's a thick one.
Yeah, feel free to just kick that down if you want. Oh man, that's big.
That is extremely. Don't break the shovel.
Yeah, don't break my shovel now. It'll be fine.
Break
It's pretty
the
strong.
other shovel.
But yeah, I'd prefer if a shovel gets... Not my personal shovel. Oh boy.
Spider.
Hey, spider friend.
Can you hold this?
So, if we wedge another rock in there while you've got it up, that'll help out.
This seems a lot bigger, actually.
Like this. Put the shovel underneath this guy, and we can kind of ratchet it up. Ooh. It's not under there far enough. Yeah, that's not really doing much. Is the spider still here? Is he gonna bite me?
Yeah, he's gone. He's right here.
There he is. Oh boy. Look how long that is. Watch there be a duckbill dinosaur tail underneath.
This is the tail.
Alright, let me get out of the way. Ready?
Yep.
Is that better?
Yep.
Okay, good.
What is that one then?
What's that?
These chunks there.
I think those are just dirt clods. Yeah.
Embarrassed myself on stream.
It happens to all of us.
Well, this is very steep right here.
It is.
And when you're carrying 5 pounds of dirt.
Your shovel.
Anywho, live broadcast. Anything could happen. Scoot this way a little bit more. We should probably wrap up in about 10 minutes or so, I think.
Oh, that
Yeah.
fast day.
People are expressing sympathy for you, Nick.
I'm fine, thank you.
Sending you hugs. Yeah.
Thank you, Chad. Very, very kind, but I'm good.
No, Nick's pretty tough.
Yep.
Oh, Claire Burr says, tell Nick the cool shovel trick redeemed him in our eyes.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think I saw the cool shovel trick.
What did I do? So we can
You
get it
twirled it.
Nice.
Did I have it like this? And it just went.
There we go, yeah.
Somebody clip it.
And Moss Toxic says, wait, so dinosaurs are real? YouTube says they are fake. Yeah, don't trust YouTube about stuff like this. He's a liar. Yeah, he'll steal your rock. We're digging up a dinosaur live on stream. Stick around and, you can kind of follow the process day by day. Yeah, I know you're kind of joking, but But still, there are a lot of people who, like, they'll believe anything they see on YouTube, which is honestly a big problem. Misinformation is rampant on the internet, especially on sites like TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that. You know, here on Twitch you can watch us dig up a dinosaur live in real time. So, this is as real as it gets. Unedited, unrehearsed, uncensored. We've got to censor ourselves, rather. So, and thank you guys for being so good about that. Yeah, haven't had any major mishaps or anything yet. But there's a whole nother month, practically, of streams. We're going to be hopefully streaming every day in the month of June, until we're done out here. So, yeah, stick around. And Moss Toxic says, how do you know what location to dig up? We dig where the bones are. I gotta stop being so snide about this. Because it is a legitimate question that a lot of people have. I just almost get tired of answering it 10 times per stream. But you guys see what I mean now, right? Mm-hmm. It gets a little repetitive. But that's how it goes with live broadcasts. Yeah, a famous paleontologist, Brown, the same guy who discovered T-Rex, he came to this area in Wyoming in 1938 and poked around. He'd heard rumors of big fossil bones coming out of the ground. Yeah, he found a bunch of dinosaurs here in 1938. Never named any of them. Didn't really work on them much. Everybody's kind of neglected this area until just a few years ago when here Ethan Cowgill decided to co-explore because he's like, nobody's worked in the Almond Formation for like 80 years. I'm going to try this out. And he started finding dinosaurs here. And so for the past 3 years, I've been coming out here, looking around for fossils and then digging up the fossils that we find. This particular site was found last summer, I think by either Logan or Trin. I think it was Logan, because I think Logan named it Purple Puzzle. That's the name of this site. And yeah, he just found a bunch of bone fragments spilling down the hillside. He followed them up to the source. This is where the bones are coming out from right here. And we've got various bones of what seems to be a duckbill dinosaur here. The fragments that he found we're pretty certain that they're from a duckbill. So presumably these bones are too. But you could always get other kinds of dinosaurs mixed in here also. So you never really know until you get things back to the laboratory and clean them up. But anyway, the way that we find these things is we walk around and look for bone that's spilling out of a hillside, bone that's eroding out of the side of a canyon or the top of a hill or whatever. And you follow the bone fragments up like breadcrumbs till you get to the source, and then you dig in. And hopefully there's bones that are in situ, still in the ground. And here, we've gotten lucky. There's a few, and we're going to dig in further. We're going to widen this hole and hope we find even more. Yeah. Hope that makes sense. Yeah. And Astoria wants to know, how do you keep your site protected from others? Reasonable secrecy. Yeah. And I don't know, one of the subtle things that we do is like not wear high visibility vests or
At Quinn.
yeah. Stuff like that. There are people who will drive up and down these roads, and we generally try and stay still when that happens and not make a lot of noise. Yeah, but this is a pretty remote area. If somebody realizes that we've got a big hole in the ground here, they might show up and just out of curiosity kick things over, you know, mess stuff up, try and tear the bones out of the ground. They probably wouldn't even recognize these as bones, honestly. Mm-hmm. But, yeah. We just try to be a little bit secretive about this stuff because we don't want fossil poachers or vandals or local hoodlums showing up and wrecking stuff. But over the past few years, we've been pretty lucky. We haven't really encountered many problems like that. So cross your fingers that that trend continues. Is it really such a big problem? Not so much here, but in other places, like, if word gets out that there's a lot of dinosaurs in a certain area, then you do souvenir hunters, vandals, fossil poachers, and this is a huge problem in Utah. I've heard all kinds of horror stories of, paleontologists working at a quarry during the day, uncovering a whole bunch of bones, collecting data and stuff. They go back to camp for the evening, and then in the middle of the night, somebody shows up and just destroys the site. And they might not even be trying to destroy it. It's just like, oh, fossil bones are here. Let me take some home. This is cool. And they just wreck the site doing that.
I forget who told me this story, but they were working at a site, and there was people on dirt bikes just watching them from a distance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you heard that story yet. So maybe you told me that? I don't know.
This has happened, I know, in...
But they'll go and destroy the site overnight.
Yep. I don't know. In places like this, I don't know. Sometimes people get really bored, and they think it's fun to smash stuff. Yeah.
It's just one of those days.
That Rebecca Hunt Foster was telling me about this. She's at Dinosaur National Monument now. She's the official park paleontologist there. But when she worked for the Bureau of Land Management as their BLM paleontologist in Utah, there had been people showing up and vandalizing sites and trying to steal fossils and stuff. And so she went out there and set up some camera traps to try and catch them in the act. And apparently there must have been a guy watching her set up the camera traps, like trail cams. And I think she set up like 5 different cameras. He went and stole 4 of them. And these are like official federal government property. And it probably said, Bureau of Land Management on the side. And he got 4 of the 5 of them. And I guess took them home. And then on the 5th camera, which he didn't take, she said that his truck was in some of the photos, but it didn't have the license plate. It wasn't the right angle, so they couldn't catch him. But these are problems out here in the American West. Like, these are issues we have to deal with. Yeah. Crimson Carnotaurus says, is the law soft on those who steal and vandalize fossils? In my opinion, yes. Unfortunately, the law is not very stringent on that. You can go to prison for a while, you can get a fine, but there are honestly not enough BLM officials out here. There are not enough rangers. There are not enough people like that to enforce the laws in the first place. It's kind of like the Wild West out here. Oh, yeah. Starma says, what's the plan in case of an emergency? Go out to the hospital, administer first aid however we can. This is not the safest place to work. We got to be careful and, make sure that we're not taking... The nearest hospital is not that close. It's not as close as I would like. We're not super far from a hospital or anything, but again, trying not to give away where we are right now. But yeah, it's one of those things where we are out kind of in the middle of nowhere. So yeah. Do you also keep your site secret to other digging groups? Yeah, pretty much. Should click that username. Docent Play, yeah. We try and be... We're digging. Just to try and avoid these things, but yeah. Savisky says, you doxed yourselves, flying from Norway right now. See you soon. Yeah. And hey, Cacklinsworth, good to see you. Hello. Anyway, you guys about ready to wrap up, you think? I just felt a raindrop, and there are some clouds moving in. It's almost 5 p.m.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take some pictures then while you wrap up.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And see if we can figure this out, maybe.
Look
at some pictures.
Take some photos from different angles and...
I might 3D scan that.
Yeah, do you have the Scaniverse app?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
so just
nice.
something to talk about.
Yeah. We can talk to Ethan.
Cool.
And if Matt shows up tonight, we can show him too.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
If you want to check this out.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
What's up?
If you want to check
Yeah. Let me take a look at that real quick before I wrap up the stream. Don't go away just yet, chat. I've got some other questions to answer.
So,
Oh.
found this guy.
Yeah.
And this is Bill. Like,
Yep.
Put a little bit of glue on that.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Brush it off first just to get some of the dust off, but, or blow it, yeah. Yeah, we'll come back tomorrow and keep working on that. It's frustrating. The surface and it's all crumbly and
I know.
this
Topsoil we're working on.
this has probably been sitting here for like a few hundred years on the surface, just slowly disintegrating. Yeah, the stuff deeper down should be a lot better, I hope. Much prettier.
This piece was found down in here. Just put that there.
And this was found.
Yeah.
Right there. Nice. Yeah.
This is a rock.
Okay. Cool. Well, let me grab the camera and all.
Well, thank you, chat.
Yeah.
for
Thank you,
everything.
Nick and Eric,
Well, thank
for
you.
for
Thank
being on
you.
camera.
Okay.
Appreciate you. This has been a lot of fun. I've got a few more questions to answer before we wrap things up, so let me do that. Here we go. Oof. We had a question, how difficult is... Pretty difficult, honestly. Yeah, so, I call myself a paleontologist because I, do paleontology. I publish papers in fossil science. I conduct research and do field work. But that's not like my official job title. I actually make my living doing live streams full time. So, yeah. We, back in September, we visited the museum in Claremont, California, that Andy Farkey helps run. He's a dinosaur paleontologist. And he was talking about how difficult it is to actually get a job as a dinosaur paleontologist. And his line was, it is easier to get a job as an NFL quarterback than it is to get a job as a dinosaur paleontologist. There are more NFL quarterback positions that open up every year than dinosaur paleontologist positions at a museum or at a university. And he's right. So often we have to kind of carve out our own niche. We'll talk about that in the coming days, especially when Matt LaManna is out here. We'll talk to him about his career and how he's been able to find success and all that. But there's not very many of us paleontologists. Sometimes we got to do things like live streaming to make a living. And somebody was asking about my boots too. I swear by these. These are fantastic. These are Daner pronghorns. They're really dusty right now. It should be like a nice chocolate brown color. There's just so much dust. So these are hunting boots, 8-inch. These are boots that are built for exactly this kind of terrain. The kind of terrain where you find pronghorn, I was going to say pronghorn antelope, but they're not actually antelope. That song, Home on the Range, where the deer and the antelope play. Antelope is a reference to pronghorn, which are not actually antelope. They're the last surviving antilocaprids, members of that once diverse family. They're not related to African antelope, or antelope from Africa, Europe, and Asia. Not related to them. Anywho, yeah, Daner pronghorn. That's the kind of boots I wear, and they're fantastic. Yeah, favorite boots I've ever had. Anywho, yeah, appreciate the answers. You bet, Nello God. You bet. Yeah. And Moss Toxic says, I honestly thought you guys got paid by the government for fossil research. No, unfortunately, there's almost none of that going on right now, especially under the current presidential administration. They seem hell-bent on just destroying the country at present, starting with education, scientific funding, all kinds of stuff like that. We here are privately funded. So there are private donors at the museum in Pittsburgh who have very kindly provided us with funds to be able to do this field work. It's a lot less expensive than you would expect. That might make sense given that all of us are volunteering. Right now, I'm actually the only one on the crew getting paid. and it's through Twitch, through subscriptions and bits and ad revenue and all that stuff. So I'm pretty lucky there. Yeah, everybody else is here not getting paid. But we do this because we love it, because it's important, because uncovering the history of life on Earth is a grand and beautiful venture, something that we find very personally fulfilling. And I'm glad that you find that interesting too. I mean, the reason that we've got 570 people watching right now, I think, is because this sort of thing is really cool. Lots of people lots of people dream of growing up to dig up dinosaurs, and not many people actually grow up to do that. I'm here trying to share this with all of you. If you've ever dreamed of this kind of thing, hopefully you can live vicariously a little bit through these streams, get excited about fossil science, understand why paleontology is so important. You know, without paleontology, we wouldn't really understand where we came from as human beings. Our place on this planet and in the history of life on Earth, this is context that we can only get by studying the history of life on Earth through the fossil record. And here we are trying to uncover one more piece of that, digging up this new kind of duckbill dinosaur that'll help date the history of life on Earth just one little bit more, you know? Uncovering one more critter from Earth's ancient past. It's just another piece in that grand puzzle. So thank you for being here with me today as we do this. It's been a joy and an honor to be able to share this with you. And we'll be doing it again tomorrow, so I hope you'll tune in then. Right now, we're going to wrap up the stream, but don't go away just yet. Let's see who else is here on Twitch right now. Maybe somebody else is doing some science, and we could go show them some love. Here we go. Scrolling through right now. Monterey Bay Aquarium. There is... Geo Jim. Excellent. Geo Jim is a geologist here on Twitch. Good stuff. We'll go see what he's up to. My channel, chat. Raid Geo Jim. Was there a number after his name? I think it's just Geo Jim, right? He's in the lab showing rocks. Yeah. Rate is 2006. Thank you. Okay, let me do this. Raid Geo Jim 2006. No, 6, not 5. There we go. That'll do it. All right. We're going to go hang out with the geologist for a little while as I pack things up here and drive everybody back to camp. Drive these guys back to camp. And we'll go see what the other members of our team have uncovered at the other sites that they've been working today. Looking forward to eating some dinner and being able to relax a little bit in camp. Everybody, you all take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for your viewership, your support. Thank you for your jokes, your good humor, your curiosity, your questions. Thank you, moderators, for all of your hard work. As always, you're the reason these streams are possible, as well as everybody who supports the streams financially. I could not be out here if it weren't for your financial support, so thank you very much for that. Anyway, without further ado, let's go right into Geo Jim. Take care, everybody. I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.